My child, stop for a moment. Do not let this message pass you by, because the words you are seeing carry a warning and a promise meant to reach your heart today. You must listen before you turn away. You did not find this moment by accident. In the middle of your searching, your scrolling, your questions, and your quiet battles, your eyes were drawn here for a reason. This is not just another message appearing on your screen. This is a moment where I am calling your attention back to what truly matters. Before you move on, before you decide this is only a title, ask yourself why your heart paused here. My beloved, I see the places within you that others cannot see. I see the prayers you whispered when no one was listening. I see the nights when you wondered if your efforts mattered, when you questioned whether you were forgotten, when you carried burdens you never spoke aloud. I know the moments when you felt distant, uncertain, or afraid that you had missed the path prepared for you. But hear me clearly. I am not speaking to condemn you. I am speaking to awaken you. I am reaching for your attention because there are blessings, guidance, and protection that you cannot recognize if your heart remains distracted. There are things I desire to place into your life, but you must be willing to listen, to receive, and to walk in the direction I am showing you. Do not skip this message, my child. Do not let a moment meant to bring clarity become a moment you leave behind. There are times when a person asks for a sign, and the answer arrives quietly. There are times when a heart asks for direction, and the path begins with simply choosing to listen. If you walk away now, you may miss the reminder your spirit has been waiting for. You may miss the encouragement that restores your hope, the correction that protects your future, or the truth that helps you recognize the blessings already surrounding you. But if you remain, if you open your heart, you may begin to understand why this message found you at this exact time. My child, I have been near even when you felt alone. I have seen every delay, every disappointment, every tear, and every moment you thought nothing was changing. The blessing is not found in fear of losing what is given. It is found in trusting the one who gives, listening with an open heart, and following the wisdom placed before you. Stay with me now. Let these words settle within your spirit. The title that brought you here is only the doorway. What I am about to reveal will help you understand why this moment mattered and what your heart needs to hear next. My child, I need you to slow down and recognize what is really happening between you and me right now. You did not arrive here by accident, and I did not allow these words to meet your eyes for no reason. I know how easy it has become for you to move quickly through moments, to glance at something, feel a stirring in your spirit, and then dismiss it because life feels busy, heavy, or simply too full to pause. But this is not one of those moments you can brush aside without consequence. I am speaking to you because I have watched you drift closer to the edge of something you do not fully understand yet. You have been standing near blessings that were meant to strengthen you, heal you, and steady your future, but your attention has been pulled in too many directions. You have been trying to survive the weight of your days while your soul quietly grows tired underneath everything you carry. I have seen the places in you that other people never notice. I have seen the part of you that keeps functioning even when your heart feels worn down. I have seen the way you tell yourself you will slow down later, pray later, reflect later, obey later, and I need you to understand that later has become dangerous for you. That is why I brought you here now. Not to shame you, not to frighten you. I brought you here because I love you enough to interrupt what has become normal in your life before it costs you more than you realize. There are moments when I whisper gently and let your heart process slowly, and then there are moments when I step in with more weight because you are standing too close to missing what I have been preparing. This is one of those moments. You have been asking for clarity in ways you barely admitted were prayers. You have asked for direction while trying to appear strong. You have wondered why you feel unsettled even when nothing around you looks obviously wrong. You have felt something inside you that cannot be fixed by rest alone, distraction alone, success alone, or comfort alone. That stirring is not confusion. That rest is not meaningless. That is your spirit feeling the distance between where you are and where I have been trying to lead you. And because I know exactly how your heart works, I knew I had to meet you in a way you could not ignore. I know the habits that have become normal to you. I know the patterns you excuse because they feel familiar. I know the compromises you have been calling harmless simply because they did not destroy everything immediately. But my child, some losses do not happen in a single dramatic moment. Some losses happen slowly. Some blessings are not stolen in one sudden event. They are missed through 100 small refusals to listen, 100 small delays, 100 moments when you choose what is easier over what I'm asking. That is why I am reaching for you now with directness. You may feel something inside you becoming more alert as you read this, and that is because your spirit recognizes my voice even when your mind wants to question it. I have been with you through every confused season, every exhausted night, every moment when you smiled outwardly while carrying inward heaviness no one else could see. I know how much you have been trying to hold together. I know how many times you have told yourself that once things calm down, you will come closer to me again in a deeper way. But I need you to hear me clearly. Your peace is not waiting at the end of your circumstances becoming easier. Your peace is waiting in your willingness to stop resisting my interruption. You are not reading random words. You are being called back into alignment. You are being asked to stop moving as if your spiritual life can remain half-awake without cost. You are being invited to notice that what feels like ordinary fatigue is often deeper than fatigue. It is distance. It is neglect. It is the ache that forms when you know I have been calling, and you keep pushing my voice behind the next task, the next emotion, the next distraction, the next excuse. I did not bring you here to overwhelm you. I brought you here because if I did not speak now, you would keep walking in the same direction while believing you still had endless time to correct it later. And my beloved child, some seasons cannot be recovered by intention alone. Some blessings belong to moments of response. That is why this matters. I want you to sit with that truth for a moment, because I know part of you wants to soften what I am saying and turn it into something less urgent so you can stay comfortable. You have learned how to do that with conviction. You have learned how to feel something deep for a moment, not internally, and then move on without letting it truly change you. But I am asking more of you now because I know what is at stake for you in this season. You are not just managing ordinary decisions. You are standing in a season where your responsiveness matters. The direction of your inner life matters. The things you keep tolerating matter. The places where you have grown spiritually none matter. I am not asking you to become afraid. I am asking you to become honest. I need you to admit that you have felt my tug before and postponed your response. I need you to admit that some of what you call exhaustion is really the result of carrying things I never asked you to carry while neglecting the things that would actually restore you. I need you to admit that you have been seeking relief in places that leave you emptier, not because you are foolish, but because you are tired and you have forgotten how much you need my nearness in practical, daily ways. You have not been abandoned. You have not lost my love. You have not gone beyond my reach, but you have been living in a way that makes it easier to hear every other voice before mine. And if that continues, the cost will not just be emotional heaviness. It will be missed peace, misdirection, missed timing, missed opportunities that I prepared for a listening heart. I know those words are weighty, but they are loving. I would rather wake you now than watch you later grieve something you could have received if you had listened when the door was open. You have wondered recently why some things feel blocked, why some answers feel delayed, why some areas of your life feel like they are moving without real life in them. I want you to consider that the issue is not always that I am silent. Sometimes the issue is that I am speaking into a life too crowded to notice. Sometimes the issue is not lack of blessing but lack of stillness. Sometimes the issue is not that the door is closed, but that you are facing the wrong direction when it opens. I say this tenderly because I know how deeply you have been trying. I know you are not careless in the way people might assume. I know you are carrying history, disappointments, responsibilities, emotional wounds, and pressures that have made your spirit more tired than you admit. But I also know you. I know how quickly you can adapt to low-level spiritual distance and start calling it normal. I know how easily you can live in partial surrender and tell yourself it is enough because you still care about me in your heart. And yes, you do care. That is why these words are landing the way they are. That is why something in you feels both exposed and relieved. Because the deepest part of you is tired of pretending that drifting is harmless. The deepest part of you wants to come back into full clarity, full responsiveness, full peace. That is why I interrupted you. That is why I brought you here. I am not merely delivering a warning. I am offering rescue before regret. I am standing in front of the path you have been walking and asking you to stop long enough to truly listen. If you receive this moment with sincerity, I can begin shifting things faster than you expect. I can restore what distraction has thinned out in you. I can strengthen what compromise weakened. I can bring back sensitivity where numb has settled in. But I need your full attention, not your passing agreement. I need your real yes, not your emotional reaction that fades by tomorrow. This is the beginning, my child. This first moment matters because if you understand that I brought you here on purpose, then you will stop treating my interruptions like inconveniences and start seeing them for what they are: protection, mercy, and the doorway back into the blessings you are still close enough to receive. My child, I need you to come closer and really hear what I am saying now, because the way you have been looking at your life lately has been shaped too much by what you can see and not enough by what I have been doing where your eyes cannot reach. You have been standing in a place that feels uncertain, and because it feels uncertain, you have assumed that nothing is moving. You have looked at delays and called them emptiness. You have looked at silence and called it absence. You have looked at resistance and quietly wondered if I changed my mind about you. I need you to let the thinking go. Release it. Set it down. Stop feeding it. I am telling you plainly that you are much closer to your breakthrough than your emotions have been willing to believe. What you have called stalled has often been hidden preparation. What you have called unanswered has often been unfolding in ways you were not yet ready to recognize. You have been so focused on what has not opened yet that you have missed how much I have already preserved for you. I have kept certain doors shut because if they had opened when you begged for them, they would have exhausted you, inflated your fears, or tied your future to people and places that could not carry what I have placed in you. I did not block those things to frustrate you. I blocked them to protect your calling, to guard your peace, and to keep you from stepping into something that looked like a blessing but would have slowly drained the life out of you. I know you have wrestled with that. I know there were nights when you asked me why it felt like you kept arriving almost at the door, only to watch it remain closed. I know you have carried the quiet ache of almost enough, almost seen, almost chosen, almost healed, almost free. But my beloved child, I want you to understand that almost is not in the story I was writing over you. You were not being brought near just to be denied. You were being brought near so I could shape you in the space between promise and fulfillment. That space has been doing holy work in you, even when it felt unfair. I have been adjusting your inner life while you kept staring at the outer delay. I have been strengthening places in you that would have collapsed under the weight of what you were asking for if I had handed it to you too early. You have wanted immediate relief, but I have been building durable peace. You have wanted visible answers, but I have been constructing inward stability. You have wanted the door, but I have been preparing the person who will walk through it. That matters more than you know. So listen carefully now and do not dismiss this because it sounds too hopeful. Receive it. Let it settle. Let it challenge the version of the story you have been repeating to yourself. You are not farther away than you think. You are not circling in meaningless delay. You are not being overlooked while everyone else moves ahead. I have been guiding you with far more precision than you realize. There are things I have already set in motion that your current frustration cannot yet see. There are answers already moving toward you that would encourage you deeply if I let you see them all at once. But if I showed you everything before your heart was ready, you would trust the visible process more than my hand. I need more than your excitement. I need your trust. I need your listening. I need your willingness to stop measuring your progress only by what has changed externally. Come out of that habit. Stop doing that to yourself. Stop turning every delay into a verdict on your worth. Stop treating every silence like proof that I am far from you. You are being carried through a narrow place, yes, but you are not being abandoned in it. And if you will stay soft before me instead of hardening into disappointment, you will begin to notice that this season is not closing around you to crush you. It is narrowing around you to focus you. It is stripping away what cannot go where I am leading you. It is making room. It is refining your sight. It is teaching you how to recognize my timing instead of forcing your own. I am not merely asking you to endure a little longer. I am asking you to wake up to how near you already are. And because you are near, my child, the way you respond right now matters more than it did before. That is what I need you to understand in a deeper way. There are seasons where your mistakes mostly teach you. There are seasons where your wandering mostly slows you. But there are also seasons where responsiveness becomes critical because the threshold is close. You are in one of those seasons now. You are close enough that distraction can cost you clarity. You are close enough that fear can delay what is already within reach. You are close enough that one more cycle of self-protection, emotional withdrawal, or half-hearted obedience can make you miss the very timing you have been praying for. I am not telling you that to burden you. I am telling you because I want you alert. I want you listening. I want you moving with me instead of constantly needing me to recover you from your own delay. So pay attention to your inner life. Watch what you are feeding your mind. Notice what you keep returning to when you are uncomfortable. Be honest about what you do when conviction rises. Do you come closer or do you distract yourself? Do you slow down or do you fill the silence? Do you ask me what I am saying? Or do you immediately seek something that numbs the weight of what you already know? This is where breakthrough gets delayed more often than you realize. Not because I stopped moving, but because you stopped receiving. There is a difference between waiting on me and quietly resisting me while calling it waiting. I need you to examine that. I need you to let my words search you without turning away. If you sense that I am touching something specific, do not argue with me. Invite me deeper. If I show you a habit, surrender it. If I expose a compromise, stop defending it. If I point to a relationship, a pattern, a coping mechanism, a fear, a lingering wound, do not just acknowledge it emotionally. Bring it to me. Hand it over. Act on what I reveal. I want more than your agreement. I want your participation. Come with me now. Walk with me here. Open your hands. Open your schedule. Open your thoughts. Open the rooms in your heart you keep trying to keep neat on the surface while avoiding the deeper mess beneath. I am not afraid of what is in you. I already know it. But you must stop pretending that you can stay fragmented and still fully receive what I am preparing to release. Your breakthrough is not only about circumstances changing around you. It is about alignment returning within you. It is about your spirit becoming clear enough to recognize the moment when I move. It is about you being ready not just to celebrate the blessing but to carry it without sabotaging it. That is why I need you to treat this season with reverence. Do not speak carelessly over your future. Do not keep saying nothing is happening. Do not keep rehearsing disappointment as if it is wisdom. Your words shape how you stand in the waiting. Let your language begin to reflect trust, not denial. Let your posture become expectant, not desperate. Let your choices prove that you believe I am near, not absent. I am not asking you to pretend everything feels good. I am asking you to stop partnering with hopelessness while calling it realism. Look again. Listen again. Pray again, but pray differently now. Ask me what I am preparing in you, not only what I am withholding from you. Ask me what needs to leave your life before the next door opens. Ask me where your heart still resists the very thing it claims to want. Then be still long enough to hear the answer. I am closer than you think, and so is the shift you have been longing for. But do not rush past this part. Let the waiting finish its work. Let the refining complete what it began. Let your heart become teachable again. And then stand up, my child, not with shallow hype, but with steady faith. Take the next obedient step. Make the call I have been nudging you to make, and what I have been telling you to end. Return to what I told you not to neglect. Sit with me instead of running from the silence. Do that, and you will begin to see that the breakthrough was never as far away as fear told you it was. It had been near enough for my voice to matter. That is why I am speaking so directly now. You are closer than you realize, and even now I am stirring not only your breakthrough, but your assignment to carry my voice further. What I have been doing in hidden places is not only for you. It is meant to become a river that reaches others who are still standing in darkness. When you sow into this work, you are not giving to a man. You are placing seed into soil I have prepared, and I have said, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease. This is your moment to partner with me, to become a vessel through which light travels into weary hearts. If you feel the pull to support through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, that is not pressure, it is my invitation. The PayPal link is in the description, and your obedience here carries my word further than you can see. I will breathe on what you release, and I will multiply it like oil that does not run dry. Step into this moment. Sow now, and watch what I cause to rise from it. My child, I want you to be very honest with me now, because what has been pulling on your life lately is not always obvious, and that is exactly why it has been so effective. You have been looking for something dramatic to explain why your peace feels thinner, why your focus feels fractured, why your spiritual sensitivity feels dulled in moments where it used to feel alive. But what hath been affecting you has not always arrived in obvious darkness. It has come quietly. It has come dressed in urgency, in endless tasks, in harmless habits, in emotional fatigue, in constant input, in little escapes that feel temporary but slowly shape your inner world. This is how distraction works when it wants to do the most damage. It does not always ask you to rebel. It simply teaches you to scatter yourself. It convinces you that because you are not doing something openly destructive, you must be fine. But I need you to hear me with clarity now. You can lose spiritual sharpness long before you lose outward structure. You can keep functioning while your heart grows less responsive. You can keep moving while your soul becomes harder to reach. That is what I have been trying to show you. I am not accusing you. I am uncovering what has been happening so you can stop calling it normal. You have been living with too much noise. You have been giving too much of your inner attention to things that do not deserve that much access. You have been feeding your mind with more than your spirit can process, and then wondering why stillness feels difficult. You have been reaching for comfort in ways that keep you from hearing the discomfort that would actually lead you back to me. Slow down and consider that. Sit with it. Let it press on you a little. You do not need to defend yourself against my words. You need to let them reveal what your own heart has been trying to tell you. There have been moments recently when I was speaking, and you felt it for a second, but instead of staying there, you moved on. You reached for something else. You checked something, watched something, filled the silence, answered another demand, distracted your discomfort, and in doing so, you missed what I was trying to place in your hands. I want you to understand how serious that has become. There are blessings that do not arrive through force. There are answers that come softly. There are directions I give that require enough stillness for you to catch the turn when it comes. But when your inner life is overcrowded, even my gentle guidance can pass by unnoticed. You have not lacked my care. You have lacked margin. You have not lacked my willingness to speak. You have lacked the quiet needed to recognize how I speak to you. And I know why. I know your life has felt heavy. I know responsibilities keep piling up. I know emotional strain has made you crave easy relief. I know some distractions became your way of coping because you did not know what else to do with the ache, the fatigue, the uncertainty, or the loneliness. I see that. I am tender with that. But my tenderness does not mean I leave you there. I love you too much to let your coping become captivity. I love you too much to let your busyness keep robbing you while you call it survival. There are things I have been trying to grow in you, but constant distraction is choking the soil. There is peace I have been trying to deepen in you, but you keep interrupting it before it can settle. There is discernment I have been trying to sharpen in you, but you keep dulling your senses with more noise than your spirit can carry. So I am asking you now, come back. Pull away from what keeps thinning your awareness. Close what needs to be closed. Step back from what keeps filling every open space. Stop treating your attention like it is unlimited. Your attention is sacred. Your focus is not small. What you repeatedly give your mind to shapes what you are able to hear from me. If you want what I am trying to give you, then guard your inner world like it matters, because it does. I need you to go even deeper with me here, my child, because distraction is not only about what steals your time. It is also about what steals your tenderness. It is what keeps you spiritually busy while emotionally unavailable. It is what lets you think about me without really being with me. It is what allows you to say you care while your heart remains too hurried to truly receive. That is why I am calling you into something more intentional now. I am not asking for a dramatic emotional moment that fades after today. I am asking for a real return. I am asking you to examine your days, your habits, your reflexes, your hidden dependencies, the places you run when discomfort rises. Look at them honestly. Invite me into that inventory. Ask me what is stealing your peace. Ask me what is overstimulating your mind. Ask me what keeps you from sitting still long enough to hear what you already know I have been saying. Then do not stop at awareness. Respond. Change something. Remove something. Step away from something. Set boundaries. Create space. Protect the quiet. Make room for me on purpose, not only when everything else is done. If you keep giving me leftovers, You will keep wondering why your soul feels underfed. I say that with love, but I need you to hear it as truth. I am not asking for scraps of your awareness while the rest of your inner life is claimed by lesser things. I am inviting you into a better way of living. I am inviting you into relief that does not leave you emptier. I am inviting you into rhythms that restore instead of deplete. I am inviting you into a kind of closeness where my voice becomes recognizable again without straying. But you must cooperate with that invitation. You must stop pretending that the same habits producing numbness will somehow lead you back into clarity. They will not. Be brave enough to disrupt what has become normal. Be willing to feel the discomfort of silence again. Let the restlessness rise if it must. Do not run from it. Sit with me in it. That is often where I begin healing what you have been avoiding. That is often where I uncover what distraction was helping you hide. Some of what you call boredom is actually unprocessed pain. Some of what you call needing constant stimulation is really fear of what will surface if you become still. But I am safe, my child. You do not need to keep protecting yourself from your own heart when I am the one holding it. Come into the quiet. Stay longer than feels convenient. Turn down what has been too loud. Refuse what keeps pulling you into shallow cycles. Reclaim the parts of your day that have become easy access points for drift. Speak to yourself differently too. Stop saying you just need to get through the day. Stop framing your life like endurance is the highest goal. I want more for you than mere survival. I want presence. I want steadiness. I want your spirit clear enough to recognize joy when it comes, wisdom when it whispers, correction when it lands, and blessing when it arrives without fanfare. You have been waiting for dramatic change, but some of the biggest shifts in your life will begin with hidden choices no one else sees. The moment you protect your attention, you protect your ability to receive. The moment you become less available to noise, you become more available to me. The moment you stop filling every silence, you begin hearing what has been waiting underneath the noise all along. So start now. Do not just agree with this inwardly and move on. Make the change. Create the space. End the pattern. Turn away from what keeps thinning your soul. And as you do, watch how quickly your inner life begins to breathe again. Watch how peace returns with more depth than before. Watch how discernment sharpens. Watch how your sense of my nearness becomes less like a distant memory and more like a present reality. I am not far from you, my child. But I am asking you to come out of the noise so you can receive what I have been trying to give you all along. My child, I need you to stay close to me in this moment because what I am about to say is not meant to wound you, but it must wake you. There was a time when your hesitation only slowed you down. There were seasons when your uncertainty, your indecision, your emotional pulling back, or your habit of saying later did not carry the same weight it carries now. In those earlier moments, I gave you room. I let you wrestle. I let you process. I let you learn through time because you were still being formed in ways that required gentleness and patience. But you are no longer standing in that same place. You have grown. You have seen more. You have felt my hand enough times now to know when I am tugging at your spirit. That changes things. It means the excuses that once sounded understandable now carry consequences they did not before. It means the patterns you keep postponing are no longer innocent delays. It means what you keep calling caution has started becoming resistance. I need you to be honest about that. Stop dressing it up. Stop calling it wisdom when deep down you know it is fear, avoidance, or attachment to comfort. I am not saying this to condemn you. I am saying it because you are in a season where delay has become expensive. It is costing you peace. It is costing you clarity. It is costing you momentum. It is costing you sensitivity to my timing. You have been feeling that without fully naming it. You have felt the drag in your spirit. You have sensed the frustration that comes when you know you should move, but you stay still in the wrong way. You have felt that subtle heaviness that settles when conviction comes and you postpone it again. That heaviness is not random. That is the friction of living too close to obedience without stepping into it. And I need you to understand something clearly. Some blessings are not only connected to desire, they are connected to response. Some doors remain closed not because I have refused you, but because you keep standing outside them while I am telling you to turn the handle. Some answers remain delayed not because I enjoy watching you wait, but because the next part of your journey requires a yes you keep postponing. I know you wish everything could shift without you having to surrender the things I keep pointing to. I know part of you wants relief without confrontation, peace without change, breakthrough without obedience. But my beloved child, that is not how deep transformation works. I do not call you into surrender to make your life harder. I call you into surrender because I can see what your delays are doing to your future. You cannot keep touching conviction and then stepping back as if that will not shape you. You cannot keep hearing my instruction and filing it away for a more convenient time as if your spirit remains unaffected. Every time you postpone what I have made clear, something in you learns to tolerate distance. Something in you grows more familiar with partial obedience. Something in you becomes more practiced at negotiation than surrender. That is dangerous, not because I stop loving you, but because the more normal delay becomes, the harder it is for you to recognize how much it is costing you. I want you to stop and really think about that. Let it sink in. You have already felt the ache of delayed peace. You have already felt what it is like to carry avoidable heaviness. You have already seen what happens when you keep circling the same issue instead of letting me lead you through it. So I am speaking to you now with a stronger tone because I love you too much to let you normalize what is quietly starving your soul. Wake up, my child. Come out of agreement with delay. Stop waiting for a more dramatic sign. Stop telling yourself you will obey when you feel more ready. Readiness is not always a feeling. Sometimes readiness is the moment you decide that my voice matters more than your comfort. Sometimes readiness is not confidence. Sometimes it is trembling trust. But it still moves. It still responds. It still said yes. I am asking for that kind of yes from you now. And because I know your heart, I want to go deeper than the surface issue. Your delay is not always about laziness, and I know that. It is often tied to pain, disappointment, fear of loss, fear of being wrong, fear of what obedience might cost you, fear of what will be exposed if you finally stop running. That is why I am not just commanding you to move. I am inviting you to bring me the part of you that hath been afraid to move. Bring me the wound underneath the postponement. Bring me the memory that made you cautious. Bring me the moment when obedience once seemed to lead you into pain, and you quietly decided you would never fully trust me like that again without admitting it out loud. I know where that came from. I know the prayer you prayed that seemed unanswered. I know the relationship you thought I would restore that still broke. I know the opportunity you believed was from me that disappeared and left you confused. I know the heartbreak that taught you to hesitate. I know the disappointment that made you build inner walls while still saying all the right spiritual words. I have seen all of it. I was there in the middle of it. I was not absent. But if you keep letting old pain govern present obedience, you will continue delaying what I am trying to heal through your next step. That is why I need more than your acknowledgement. I need your trust renewed in real time. Come closer. Stay with me. Let me touch the places in you that still flinch when I call you forward. Do not protect those places from me. Open them. Let me show you that this is not the same season. Let me prove to you that the instruction I am giving you now is not meant to recreate your old pain, but to free you from the hold it still has on your choices. You are not being led into harm. You are being led out of a cycle. You are being led out of delay, out of drift, out of endless emotional rehearsing, out of the exhausting loop where you feel conviction, feel resistance, feel temporary relief, then feel the burden return because nothing actually changed. Enough of that. End it here. Stop feeding it. Stop preserving what I have been asking you to release. If I have told you to let something go, let it go. If I have told you to return to something holy that you neglected, return to it. If I have told you to step away from a pattern, then step away. Do not keep waiting for the perfect emotional state to do what I have already made clear. Your breakthrough will not be born through more internal debate. It will begin when you obey. Your peace will not return through endless analysis. It will deepen when you surrender. Your direction will not become obvious while you keep resisting the last clear thing I said. Go back there. Revisit it. Ask me again if you need to, but do not ask in a way that is secretly asking for permission to delay. Ask with a willing heart. Ask with open hands. Ask ready to respond. And move. Make the change. Send the message. End the compromise. Tell the truth. Step into the quiet. Forgive what you have been carrying. Release the habit. Choose the discipline. Return to prayer with honesty instead of performance. Sit with me long enough to hear what your own distractions have been drowning out. I am not asking you to become flawless overnight. I am asking you to stop treating my voice like a suggestion. This is the season where your yes matters. This is the season where timing matters. This is the season where what you do with conviction matters. Do not miss the tenderness hidden inside my urgency. I am not pressing you because I am angry. I am pressing you because I can see how close you are to what you have been asking me for, and I will not let you sleep through the threshold. Come now. Not later. Not when it feels easier. Not when your emotions finally settle. Come now. Bring your fear with you if you must, but do not let it drive. Let me lead. Let this be the moment you stop negotiating and start responding. If you do, you will discover that the very step you kept avoiding was the doorway into relief. Your delay is not harmless anymore, and neither is your hesitation to act when I move your heart to give. What you release in obedience becomes fire in the hands of others who are still waiting to hear my voice. I have said, give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and I speak that over you now as a living word. This is not about obligation. It is about alignment with my timing and my purpose. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you step out of delay and into divine flow. Your seed becomes light in someone else's night, clarity in someone else's confusion. Do not postpone this prompting. This is a threshold moment. Respond now, and let your obedience unlock what delay hath been holding back. My child, I want you to stay tender with me now because this park reaches into places you may have tried not to name clearly. There are things in your life that you already know are standing between your heart and my voice. You do not need a stranger to point them out. You do not need more signs, more clues, or more pressure to recognize them. You already feel the shift in your spirit when you reach for them. You already know how your peace changes after you spend time with them. You already know which habits leave you numb, which patterns leave you distant, which comforts give you temporary relief but leave a quiet emptiness behind. I have watched you return to these things again and again, not always because you love them, but because they are familiar. Some of them soothe you for a moment. Some of them distract you from pain. Some of them help you avoid what rises when life gets too heavy, too lonely, too uncertain, or too exposing. I know that. I understand the pull of what feels immediate when your soul is tired. I know how quickly you reach for what gives you a short escape when your heart feels overwhelmed. But my beloved child, I need you to stop calling these things harmless simply because they are familiar. Familiar is not always safe. Familiar can become a soft prison. Familiar can become the quiet thief that keeps taking from you while you keep letting it stay because it does not look dramatic enough to confront. Some of what you keep choosing over me is not destroying your life in one obvious blow. It is draining it in slow motion. It is thinning your sensitivity. It is weakening your hunger for what is holy. It is making your inner life more crowded, more restless, more dull, more fragmented. And then you wonder why my presence feels harder to sense, why prayer feels flatter, why peace feels more difficult to hold, why conviction feels easier to ignore. It is not because I moved away. It is because you keep returning to things that make your heart less available. I say that with compassion, but I need you to hear it with clarity. I am not trying to take away every comfort from you. I am trying to free you from the comforts that quietly cost too much. There is a difference. I am not asking you to live empty, joyless, or constantly afraid of pleasure. I am asking you to become honest about what has become a substitute. What do you run to first when discomfort rises? What do you reach for when silence starts to feel revealing? What do you choose when I begin to draw your attention inward and you feel the urge to look away? That is where I want you to look. Do not rush past that question. Sit with it. Bring it before me. Let me name it if you have been avoiding the truth. Some of what you keep returning to is not evil because of what it is on the surface. It is harmful because of the role it has taken in your heart. It has become a refuge that was never meant to carry your soul. It has become a repeated response that slowly trains you to seek relief without surrender. And because it feels easier than stillness, easier than prayer, easier than truth, easier than letting me search you, you keep going back. But every time you do, you reinforce a path that makes it harder for you to choose me in the moments that matter most. That is why I am speaking firmly now. Let it go. Release it. Do not negotiate with it again. Do not keep one hand on it while asking me for full blessing with the other. I love you too much to let you keep splitting yourself that way. If you want the depth of what I am trying to give you, you must be willing to release what keeps training your heart to live shallow. You cannot keep choosing what numbs you and expect to remain deeply sensitive to me. You cannot keep protecting the thing that weakens you, and then wonder why you feel spiritually fragile. Be brave enough to admit what it is. Then be brave enough to let it go. And I know, my child, that letting go is not always simple just because you understand the problem. That is why I do not want you to hear this as a cold command without my hand reaching toward you in the same moment. I am not standing at a distance saying, "Fix yourself, then come closer." I am saying, "Come closer so I can help you release what you cannot seem to put down alone." There are attachments in you that formed around pain. There are patterns in you that grew around survival. There are comforts you leaned on because they were available when you felt empty, ignored, overworked, unseen, or emotionally exhausted. Some of them became habits because they filled space. Some became routines because they helped you avoid grief. Some became emotional shelters because you did not know how to sit with your own vulnerability in my presence without feeling exposed. I understand that. I am not disgusted by your weakness. I am not impatient with your need. But I will not leave you chained to what is hurting you just because it has become familiar. So come here. Bring the real struggle, not the polished version, Stop telling me you are fine when you already know you are not. Stop making peace with patterns that quietly rob you of spiritual strength. Let me into the exact place where you keep losing ground. Tell me the truth about it. Name it. Bring it into the light. Do not hide behind vague words. Be specific with me. Say, this is what I keep turning to. This is where I keep drifting. This is what I reach for when I do not want to feel. This is what I choose when I want relief more than intimacy. Then stay with me there. Do not confess it and run. Stay. Let the discomfort breathe for a moment. Let me speak into it. Let me show you what that thing has been covering. Let me heal the ache beneath it. Because if you only try to rip out the behavior without letting me touch the wound underneath, you may remove the branch for a moment but keep the root alive. I want deeper freedom than that for you. I want the kind of release that changes what you hunger for. I want the kind of healing that makes lesser comforts lose their grip because your soul has finally tasted real rest again. But you must cooperate with that. You must choose the discomfort of honest surrender over the false ease of repeated escape. Put distance between yourself and what weakens you. Change the pattern. Interrupt the cycle. Remove access where needed. Create boundaries that protect your spirit. Do not keep standing near the very thing you are asking me to free you from while secretly hoping you can keep it without consequence. You already know it costs too much. So act like you know. Walk away. Turn your face. Close the door. Replace the habit with holy space. Fill the place it occupied with prayer, quiet, truth, worship, reflection, or even simple stillness with me. Do not leave an empty room inside you and expect the old thing not to knock again. Fill the room with my presence. Invite me into your routine, not just your emergencies. Invite me into the hour when you usually drift. Invite me into the moment when you usually reach for the easy escape. Say, stay with me here. And I will. I will meet you there. I will steady your hands. I will strengthen your resolve. I will give you more power than you think you have right now. But you must choose. I will not force what love invites. I am offering you freedom, but I need your agreement with it. So choose life over false relief. Choose intimacy over numbness. Choose the deeper healing over the temporary hush. Choose me while your heart is being stirred, not later when the old pull feels stronger again. This is not just about giving something up. This is about making room for what you have been asking me to pour in. You cannot keep holding both at once forever. One will shape you more than the other. Decide which one you want to become. And then come to me fully, my child, because what I have for you is cleaner, deeper, steadier, and far more beautiful than the thing you keep settling for. My child, I want you to stay very close to me in this part, because I am not only speaking to your choices now, I am speaking to the wound beneath them. I am speaking to the places in you that became careful, guarded, and quietly distant because you were hurt in ways you did not know how to carry. I know why you hesitate with me sometimes. I know why part of you leans in while another part pulls back. I know why you can still pray and still worship and still say the right things, yet somewhere deeper inside, there is a hidden caution that keeps you from fully relaxing in my care. You did not become that way for no reason. You learned it through pain. You learned it through waiting that felt too long. You learned it through prayers that seemed to disappear into silence. You learned it through doors you believed I would open that stayed shut. You learned it through relationships you asked me to heal that still broke. You learned it through seasons when you were trying to obey, trying to trust, trying to hold on, and yet what happened around you felt so opposite of what you hoped that something inside you quietly formed a conclusion you never fully admitted. I will still believe, but I will not lean all the way in. I will still stay near, but I will protect myself. I will still love God, but I cannot risk expecting too much. I know that conclusion. I heard it when you never said it out loud. I saw it when it formed in you. I watched the exact moment when disappointment stopped being a passing pain and started becoming a lens. And my beloved child, I am not exposing that to shame you. I am exposing it because that lens is now affecting how you receive my love, my guidance, my correction, and even my blessings. It has made you cautious where I want you confident. It has made you suspicious where I want you surrendered. It has made you interpret my timing through old heartbreak instead of present truth. I need you to stop and really let that reach you. You are not only wrestling with what is happening right now, you are reacting to what happened before. Some of your current resistance has less to do with the present and more to do with old grief still sitting in the room. That is why I keep coming after your heart so gently and so firmly at the same time. I do not only want your obedience, I want your trust restored. I do not only want your behavior aligned, I want the relationship between you and me healed in the places where disappointment taught you to keep one hand on the door. Let me say something to you very plainly. My silence was never abandonment. My delay was never indifference. My refusal in certain moments was never cruelty. I know it felt personal. I know it felt confusing. I know there were nights when you stared into the dark and wondered why I did not step in the way you begged me to. I know there were moments when you thought, if he really sees me, why is this still happening? But my child, you could not see then what I can show you now. Some of what you called unanswered prayer was protection so precise that if I had explained it at the time, your pain would not have let you believe me. Some of what you called loss was actually rescue wearing a hard face. Some of what you thought was my distance was me standing in front of destruction you never saw. I know that does not erase the ache you felt. I know it does not instantly undo the tears, the confusion, the long seasons of uncertainty. But I need you to stop building your understanding of my heart from moments you never fully understood. Come back to me with your questions. Bring me your disappointment. Bring me the places where you still feel betrayed by what did not happen. Bring me the memories that still sting when you think about them. Do not sanitize them. Do not make them sound spiritual. Tell me the truth. Tell me where you felt let down. Tell me where you thought I should have moved differently. Tell me where you still carry a quiet ache when you remember the season that changed you. Then stay there with me long enough for me to answer, not always with explanations, but with presence, with healing, with clarity, with a deeper unveiling of my character than pain ever gave you. Stop protecting your wound from the one who can actually heal it. Stop letting yesterday interpret me for you. Come here. Open your heart. Let me touch what still hurts. And because I love you, I need to say this next part with even more tenderness and even more clarity. If you keep letting old pain decide how deeply you trust me now, you will keep delaying the very blessings you say you want. That is not because I am punishing you for being wounded. It is because wounded trust creates guarded obedience, and guarded obedience always slows intimacy. You can still move with me while guarded, but not with the same freedom. You can still hear me while guarded, but not with the same clarity. You can still receive from me while guarded, but not with open hands. That is why some of what I am doing in this season is not merely about changing your circumstances. It is about healing your interpretation of me. I want you to notice how often you assume disappointment before you assume goodness. I want you to notice how quickly you brace yourself when I begin to stir something new in your life. I want you to notice how often you hold back your expectation because you are trying to avoid being hurt again. You think that self-protection keeps you safe, but in truth, it often keeps you half receiving. It keeps you from the full rest that comes when you finally trust that I am not like the people who failed you. I am not careless with your heart. I am not unstable. I am not inconsistent. I am not moved by moods. I am not one version of myself when life is easy and another when life is painful. I am steady. I am faithful. I am wise even when you cannot see why. I am gentle even when my ways feel severe. I am near even when I seem quiet. I am still your Father in the dark, not just in the dawn. So listen to me and respond. Stop rehearsing the old pain every time I call you into something deeper. Stop assuming that because something once broke, everything new is dangerous. Stop reading my current invitations through old heartbreak. This is not that season. You are not that version of yourself. And I am not asking you to blindly leap into emotional fantasy. I am asking you to bring me your wounded trust and let me rebuild it through real-time obedience. Take the next step with me, even if your heart shakes. Pray honestly, even if part of you still feels cautious. Expect again, even if you feel resistance rising. Receive my comfort without immediately questioning whether it will last. Sit with me in stillness and let your nervous spirit learn what safety feels like in my presence. This is not a small thing. This is holy work. This is the kind of inner healing that changes how you walk into every future season. And I want you to participate with me in it. Say what you have not said. Cry where you have held it in. Release the accusation you never fully voiced. Lay down the disappointment you made part of your identity. Let me be trusted again where you stopped trusting fully. Invite me into the memory. Invite me into the fear. Invite me into the specific place where your heart still whispers, I do not know if I can risk that again. And listen. Let me answer with the consistency of my presence, the steadiness of my character, the patience of my love. I am not in a hurry to rush you, but I will not leave you hidden behind spiritual caution forever. Come out from behind it. Step into the open with me. Let this be the season where your trust is not shallow, not performative, not based only on visible outcomes, but rooted in who I am. If you do that, you will begin to notice something beautiful. The things that once made you flinch will lose their power. The moments that once triggered fear will become places where faith quietly stands. A voice inside you that used to brace for disappointment will begin to soften. And when that happens, my child, the blessings you thought were only about changed circumstances will start reaching you in a deeper way because your heart will finally be able to hold them without shrinking back. That is what I want for you. Not just answered prayers, but a healed relationship with the one answering them. So come closer. Trust me again. Not because nothing ever hurt, but because I am still worthy of your whole heart. I have seen the pain that made you cautious, even in your giving, even in your willingness to trust again. But I am restoring not only your heart, I am restoring your flow, your generosity, your confidence in sowing into what carries my presence. When you give into this work, you are not risking loss. You are planting into ground I myself have anointed, and I have declared, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. Let this be the place where your trust is rebuilt through action, not just intention. Support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and watch how I meet you there. I will not fail you in this. I will show you that I am still faithful to multiply what is placed in my hands. Let your giving become a step of healing. Trust me again. So now, my child, I need you to feel the weight of this without turning it into fear, because this is not about me threatening you. This is about me telling you the truth while there is still time to respond. There are blessings in this season with your name on them. There is peace I have prepared for you that you have not fully stepped into yet. There is restoration that has been quietly forming beneath the surface. There are doors I am ready to open, moments I am ready to release, shifts I am ready to bring into your life that will answer prayers you have carried for a long time. I say that to strengthen your heart, but I also need to tell you something just as clearly. If you keep ignoring my voice, if you keep treating conviction like background noise, if you keep postponing the adjustments I have been asking of you, you can miss what was meant for this season. Do not turn away from that truth just because it feels uncomfortable. Stay with it. Let it sober you in the right way. I am not saying you will stop being mine. I am not saying my love for you is fragile. I am not saying grace disappears because you struggle. I am saying timing matters. Seasons matter. Windows matter. There are moments in life when I invite you forward in a specific way, and if you keep resisting that invitation, the opportunity tied to that moment can shift. The blessing remains possible in my sovereignty, but the timing changes, the shape changes, the route changes, and sometimes the pain of realizing you delayed what was meant to strengthen you becomes its own kind of grief. I do not want that for you. I do not want you looking back later with the ache of recognition, seeing that you were closer than you thought while you kept calling it ordinary. I do not want you realizing that what you needed was not another sign, but a response to the signs you already had. You have been asking me for clarity, and I have been giving it in layers. You have been asking for direction, and I have been nudging you in specific places. You have been asking for peace, and I have been pointing to the exact things that keep disturbing it. You have been asking for breakthrough, and I have been showing you the doors in your own heart that must be opened first. But because my voice often comes with gentleness instead of force, you have sometimes mistaken my patience for permission to delay. It is not. My patience is mercy. My patience is love. My patience is me giving you room to respond without crushing you. But mercy is not the same as endless postponement. There comes a point where continued delay becomes a decision, even if you never say it out loud. There comes a point where repeatedly ignoring my voice becomes agreement with the very thing that is holding you back. I am speaking to you now because I do not want you crossing that line unknowingly. I want you away. I want you alert. I want you honest enough to admit that you have already heard me in certain areas. You know what I have been pressing on. You know what I have been asking you to end, to begin, to release, to repair, to confront, to surrender, to stop excusing. Do not tell yourself you are still waiting to know if it is me when deep down you know it is. That is not confusion anymore. That is avoidance. And I say that with love because I want to free you from it. Do not miss this season because you kept trying to make conviction feel optional. Do not lose what could have been received in peace because you kept pushing my voice to the edge of your awareness. Come back to the center. Turn toward me. Listen while the door is open. Respond while the stirring is still alive in you. This matters more than you know. And because it matters, I want to speak to the part of you that keeps assuming there will always be another chance exactly like this one. That assumption has made you casual in places where I need you reverent. It has made you postpone what should have been immediate. It has made you comfort yourself with future intention instead of present obedience. But my beloved child, not every moment repeats. Not every invitation comes back in the same form. Not every season stays open just because you want it to later. There are holy timings in your life that carry a kind of spiritual weather. There are moments when grace is stirring something specific, when your heart is soft in a specific way, when circumstances are aligning, when inner conviction is ripening, when I am creating a narrow and precious opening for change, healing, restoration, or breakthrough. If you keep treating those moments like they are endlessly replaceable, you will keep missing the beauty of what was available now. I need you to stop living like delay is free. It is not. It costs tenderness. It costs momentum. It costs clarity. It costs the ease that comes when you move with me instead of after a long season of resistance. That is why I am not only warning you, I am inviting you. Step in now. Do not wait for a louder consequence. Do not wait until what I am saying becomes visible loss. Do not wait until the unrest becomes regret. Move while this is still conviction and not sorrow. Come closer while this is still an invitation and not the ache of hindsight. You have more power in this moment than you realize. Your yes right now matters. Your decision right now matters. Your willingness to stop, listen, and act matters. If I have been calling you to deeper prayer, return now. If I have been asking you to cut ties with something that keeps weakening you, do it now. If I have been telling you to forgive, begin now. If I have been pointing to a compromise, stop defending it and surrender it now. If I have been asking you to trust me in an area where old fear keeps tightening your chest, choose trust in the next step now. Do not romanticize future obedience. Obey in the present. That is where grace meets you. That is where peace starts returning. That is where blessing begins to flow without obstruction. I am not trying to make you anxious about missing me. I am trying to make you responsive enough to move with me. There is a difference. Fear paralyzes. My voice awakens. Fear makes you self-focused. My voice turns you toward trust. So refuse panic, but do not refuse urgency. Receive the tenderness inside my warning. Let it sharpen you. Let it sober you. Let it move you out of passivity. There is still time, my child. That is why I am speaking like this. There is still a window. There is still grace. There is still movement available to you. There is still peace within reach. There is still restoration that can happen faster than you think if you stop resisting the path that leads there. So answer me, not emotionally for a moment and then back to the old cycle. Answer me with action. Answer me with surrender. Answer me with the small, practical obedience that proves you heard me. Then watch what begins to shift. Watch how quickly some of the fog lifts when you stop ignoring what was already clear. Watch how the heaviness changes when you stop carrying what I told you to release. Watch how your inner life becomes lighter when you stop arguing with the very truth meant to free you. I have not brought you this far to let you miss the season by inches. I have not stirred your heart this deeply to leave you wandering at the edge of what I prepared. Come in. Step through. Listen now. And do not make me compete with the noise when I am already giving you the direction you asked for. My child, I am not asking you for a dramatic performance right now. I am not asking you to become someone else in a single emotional moment. I am not asking you to prove your love for me through loud words, visible intensity, or some polished version of spirituality that looks impressive on the outside while your heart still trembles underneath. I am asking for something quieter and far more powerful. I am asking for your real yes. I am asking for the kind of obedience that begins where no one else can see it, in the private chambers of your will, in the hidden places where you decide whether my voice will remain a suggestion or become your direction. This is your moment to return, not just to believe, not just to comfort, not just to the idea of being close to me, but to deep obedience. I want you to hear that word correctly. I do not mean harsh religion. I do not mean fear-driven striving. I do not mean you becoming rigid, anxious, or trapped in endless self-monitoring. I mean the kind of surrendered closeness where you stop negotiating with what I have already made clear. I mean the kind of trust that does not keep asking me the same question in different forms because part of you hopes I will change what I said to make it easier on your flesh. I mean the kind of return where you finally stop calling partial obedience maturity. You have done that more than once, my beloved. You have told yourself that because you care deeply, because you still think of me, because you still feel conviction, because you still love truth, that your partial surrender is close enough. But I need you to let that go now. Close enough is not the same as yielded. Emotionally moved is not the same as obedient. Spiritually aware is not the same as spiritually aligned. I say that with love, but I need it to reach you with force. Because the place you are standing in now requires more than good intentions. It requires response. It requires honesty. It requires you to stop hiding behind the comfort of wanting to obey and actually begin obeying where it costs something. That is where deep obedience begins. It begins when you say yes before the outcome is visible. It begins when you release what still feels familiar. It begins when you stop delaying what I have already touched in your heart. It begins when you choose the narrow road in the quiet moment before anyone else knows a decision has been made. I want you to understand something that will change the way you see this season. Deep obedience is not about losing yourself. It is about finally coming back into the version of you that peace can actually live in. You have been tired because too much of your energy has gone into inner conflict. You have been exhausted because part of you keeps hearing me and another part keeps resisting, bargaining, postponing, reshaping, or softening what I am saying. That inner war is draining you more than you realize. It is like trying to walk with one foot on the path and one foot grating in the dirt. It wears you down. It steals joy. It blurs clarity. It creates heaviness that you then try to solve through comfort, distraction, or overthinking, when the real answer is simpler and harder at the same time. Obey. Return. Come fully. Stop splitting yourself. If you would do that, if you would stop preserving a divided inner life and simply step into what I have been calling you toward, you would feel a kind of relief that no amount of analysis has been able to produce. I want that for you. I want the clean air of surrender to fill the rooms in your soul that have become stale with delay. I want the tension to break. I want the fog to live. I want the exhausting loop of conviction without action to end. So come now. Do not overcomplicate this. Sit with me. Ask me plainly, what have you already been saying that I keep postponing? Then be still enough to hear the answer you already sense. Do not argue with it. Do not reinterpret it. Do not turn it into something abstract so you can avoid its practical demand. Take it as it comes. Then respond. That is your doorway. That is your return. That is where the deeper life begins again. And because I know how your heart works, I want to speak directly to the part of you that fears what deep obedience will cost. You have sometimes imagined obedience as loss, as limitation, as a narrowing of joy, as the end of freedom, as a heavy road where all the color drains out of your life and you are left only with discipline and duty. That is not my heart toward you. That is what fear has whispered when it wanted to keep you in half surrender. Deep obedience is not the death of your joy. It is the death of the false things that have been stealing it. It is not the shrinking of your life. It is the stripping away of what has made your life spiritually cluttered, emotionally cramped, and internally divided. It is not punishment. It is alignment. It is the moment when your inner world stops fighting against the very grace that has been trying to heal it. That is why I want you to stop treating obedience like an emergency option and start receiving it as an invitation into freedom. Come and see a difference for yourself. Ask me in this. Follow what I have been saying in the small places. Return to the prayer time you abandoned because you felt dry. Cut off the habit that keeps pulling you out of peace. Speak the truth you have delayed because it makes you vulnerable. Forgive the person you keep revisiting in anger. Step away from the relationship, environment, or pattern that keeps making your spirit dull. Rebuild the simple disciplines you once called life-giving before convenience slowly replaced them. Do these things not to earn my love, but because my love is already calling you into a cleaner, freer, steadier way of living. I want more command in your spirit, more clarity in your thoughts, more quiet strength in your decisions. I want your life to stop feeling like a room full of open tabs, unfinished emotions, and competing loyalties. Close the tabs, my child. Clear the table. Make room. Return to the secret place. Return to unforced honesty. Return to the place where your yes is not performed for anyone, but offered to me in the quiet. And do not wait until you feel powerful. Start while you feel weak. Start while your emotions still wobble. Start while the old pull still tugs at you. Obedience does not require perfect emotional weather. It requires willingness. That is why I keep telling you to come as you are, but come all the way. Bring the fear. Bring the confusion. Bring the weariness. Bring the disappointment. Bring the part of you that still flinches. But do not let those things decide whether you move. Let my voice decide. Let my truth lead. Let my spirit steady you. This is where so much of what you have been asking for begins to unlock. You keep asking for peace, but peace deepens in yielded ground. You keep asking for clarity, but clarity sharpens in surrendered lives. You keep asking for breakthrough, but breakthrough often starts with a simple obedience you keep postponing because it does not look dramatic enough. Stop looking for lightning strike when I am handing you a key. Stop waiting for some grand emotional explosion when I am already opening the next step through quiet instruction. This is your moment. Receive it like a gift, not a burden. Let this be the hour where you stop circling and start walking. Let this be the day you end the exhausting habit of touching conviction and retreating from it. Let this be the point where your relationship with me becomes cleaner, deeper, more honest, more yielded than it has been in a long time. And if you do that, if you truly return to deep obedience, you will begin to feel something beautiful rising in you. You will notice the tension easing. You will sense your spirit becoming less crowded. You will discover that what looked like restriction was actually rescue. You will realize that what fear called loss was actually the opening of a better life. So come now, my child. Do not stand at the edge any longer. Step into full surrender. Give me the real yes. Then stay there. Walk it out. Live it quietly and steadily. And watch how much begins to change when you stop asking whether you should return and simply return. This is your moment to return to deep obedience, and that obedience includes what you do with what I have placed in your hands. Do not separate your surrender from your generosity, for where your treasure flows, your heart follows, and I am calling both back to me. When you give into this work through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not losing. You are aligning with my kingdom flow. I have said, honor me with your substance, and your barns will be filled with plenty, and I am watching how you respond now. This is not a small act. It is a key that unlocks deeper freedom and participation in what I am building. Let your yes be complete, not partial. Step into obedience fully. Give now, and watch how I bring order, peace, and increase into your life. My child, after all I have said to you, I do not want you to hear only warning. I do not want you to walk away carrying the weight of urgency without also feeling the warmth of hope. I am speaking strongly because I love you, but I am also speaking tenderly because there is still so much within reach for you. There are things in your life that feel delayed, fractured, drained, or nearly gone. And I know how those losses have shaped the way you look at the future. I know how easy it has become for you to assume that if something has been broken long enough, it must be beyond recovery. I know the silent resignation that has tried to settle in you. I know the part of you that says, maybe I missed it. Maybe it is too late. Maybe I let too much slip through my hands. Maybe what once could have been is gone forever. I hear that voice, my beloved, and I need you to stop listening to it as if it has the final word. It does not. If you listen now, truly listen, if you respond to me now with the sincerity I have been calling for, I can restore what you thought you lost. That does not always mean I recreate the past exactly as it was. I am not promising to hand you back every former version of every broken thing. But I am telling you that what feels dead to you is not always dead to me. What feels delayed to you is not always denied in my hands. What looks ruined to you is not always beyond redemption in my timing. I am the one who sees beneath the ashes. I am the one who knows what can still live again. I am the one who can take what was scattered and gather it with wiser hands than before. Some of what you think you lost was not destroyed. It was simply buried under distraction, pain, fear, delay, or disobedience. Some of what you think is gone is waiting on alignment. Some of what you mourn is still within reach if you will stop grieving from a distance and start walking with me toward healing. I want you to let that possibility breathe inside you. Do not rush to argue with it because you have been disappointed before. Do not shut it down because hope feels risky. Stay with me here. Let me speak life into places you have already written off. I know the dreams you no longer mention because talking about them hurts too much. I know the parts of your identity that got buried under survival. I know the piece you used to carry more easily before exhaustion and compromise slowly thinned it out. I know the tenderness in your heart that became harder because too many wounds stacked up without enough healing. I know the spiritual hunger you once had that now feels harder to access because you have been living in a haze of noise, pressure, and inner fatigue. I know the joy that used to feel simpler. I know the trust that used to feel cleaner. I know the confidence you lost in places where life hit you harder than you expected. And I am telling you now, do not assume those things are beyond restoration just because they have been absent for a while. Bring them to me. Name them. Invite me into the exact places where you feel loss. Do not keep speaking over your life as if all that remains is damage control. That is not the story I am writing. You are not standing in front of a locked grave. You are standing in front of a God who still speaks into closed places. You are not too late to return. You are not too far gone to recover what distraction drained. You are not beyond the reach of renewal. But you must listen now. You must respond now. You must stop treating restoration like a vague dream and begin treating it like a path that starts with surrender, honesty, and the next obedient step. And I want you to understand something even more beautiful, my child. Sometimes the restoration I bring is deeper than the version you lost. That matters. Because part of your fear has been tied to the idea that if something returns, it might only return in a fragile, patched-together form, always carrying the mark of what went wrong. But I do not restore the way human hands often restore. I do not merely tape broken pieces together and call it enough. I redeem. I renew. I work. I rebuild with wisdom, with healing, with truth, with a deeper foundation than before. That is why I need you to stop clinging to the exact image of how you think restoration must look in order to trust me with it. If you insist on only one version, you may miss the better one I am preparing. Open your hands. Let me define what recovery means. Let me show you what can still rise. Let me decide which parts of the old must remain buried and which parts can be reborn in a stronger form. This applies to your peace, your calling, your spiritual sensitivity, your joy, your inner steadiness, your confidence, your discipline, your relationships, and even the parts of your future you thought were permanently delayed. I can breathe on dry places. I can soften what became hard. I can awaken what went dormant. I can bring color back to areas of your life that have felt gray and heavy for too long. But do not just wait passively and call it faith. Participate. Come with me into the restoration. Rebuild the altar you neglected. Return to the habits that made room for my presence. Apologize where pride kept you silent. Repair what I tell you to repair. Release what cannot be carried forward. Stop feeding the thoughts that keep announcing permanent loss over temporary seasons. Watch your words. Speak life where I am breathing life. Stop saying, "It is over," while I am saying, "Come see what can still be redeemed." Stop rehearsing the funeral of things I have not buried. This is not denial. This is alignment with my voice instead of your fear. And I need more from you than emotional agreement. I want action. If you miss the old closeness, return to the place where you last felt truly with me and rebuild from there. If you miss your peace, remove what has been poisoning it. If you miss your spiritual sharpness, step out of the noise and sit in stillness until your senses wake again. If you miss your joy, stop feeding the patterns that keep your soul heavy and let gratitude, worship, and honest rest re-enter your life. If you miss your confidence, stop looking at yourself through failure and start looking at yourself through my faithfulness. I am not asking you to pretend there was no loss. I am asking you not to crown loss as Lord over your future. I am still here. I am still moving. I am still able. And if you will listen now, if you will truly receive the invitation hidden inside all this urgency, you will begin to watch restoration happen in ways that feel both gentle and startling. Some things will return quietly, like dawn filling a room. Some things will break open suddenly, like a door you thought was sealed. Some things will heal in layers, deeper than you expected. But the key is this: do not stay outside your own healing because you are afraid to hope again. Come in. Walk with me. Bring me what feels ruined. Bring me what feels late. Bring me what feels thin, weak, worn, and nearly gone. Put it in my hands and stop taking it back every time fear starts talking. I can restore more than you think. I can recover more than you have imagined. I can redeem years that felt wasted and seasons that seemed swallowed whole. So listen now, my child. Listen with your heart, not just your emotions. Listen with your choices, not just your tears. Listen with surrender. Then watch what I begin to rebuild, not only around you, but within you. Because the deepest restoration I want to give you may not only be the things you thought you lost. It may be you. My child, after everything I have said to you, this is where it becomes personal in the deepest way. This is not about whether you understood the words. It is not about whether something stirred in your emotions for a moment. It is not even about whether you agree that I have been speaking. This is about what you will do now. This is the point where the path in front of you becomes simple, even if it does not feel easy. You can walk away from this moment and tell yourself that you will think about it later, pray about it later, obey later, change later, return later, surrender later. Or you can stop where you are, breathe, and recognize that later has already cost you enough. I need you to feel the weight of that. Later has already taken peace from you. Later has already delayed clarity. Later has already allowed distractions to grow roots. Later has already made your inner life more complicated than it needed to be. Later has already made some seasons harder than they were meant to be. So do not bow to later again. Do not hand your future to the same delay that has already stolen too much. Choose to listen now. Not in a shallow, passing way. Not in the way that feels touched for an hour and then drifts back into the same patterns by tomorrow. Choose to listen with your will. Choose to listen with your habits. Choose to listen with your next decision. Choose to listen in the exact place where I have been pressing on you all along. You already know where that place is. You know what thought came up when I said surrender. You know what memory surfaced when I said trust. You know what habit flashed through your mind when I said let go. You know what area of your life tightened when I said timing matters. That is where I am standing. That is where I am waiting. Do not keep asking for broader guidance when I am giving you specific light. Walk in the light you have. Use what I already gave you. Stop acting as if you are still lost when the next step hath been clear for longer than you want to admit. I say that because I love you, not because I am frustrated by your weakness. I know your weakness. I know your fears. I know how easily your mind can spiral into what-ifs. I know how your emotions can swell and then retreat. I know how your old pain can make my present invitation feel more dangerous than it is. But I also know something else about you. I know the part of you that is tired of drifting. I know the part of you that is weary of half-surrender. I know the part of you that longs for clean peace, for steady joy, for real clarity, for the kind of inner rest that does not disappear the moment pressure rises. That part of you is not dead. That part of you is hearing me now. So strengthen that part. Feed that part. Let that part respond. Stand up inwardly and say yes where you have been wavering. I am not asking you to manufacture certainty about the whole road. I am asking you to stop resisting the next step. The next step is enough. Take it. Do it today. Do it while your heart is still open. Do it before the noise returns and tries to explain away what you know I have been saying, and what I told you to end. Return to what I told you not to neglect. Open the conversation you have been avoiding. Cut off the thing that keeps pulling you out of peace. Make room for me in the place where distraction has been living. Sit in the quiet instead of escaping it. Tell me the truth instead of giving me polished words. Let this become real. Because if you listen now, truly listen, I will begin releasing what your soul has been longing for in ways that will feel both unmistakable and deeply personal. Some of what I release will be inward before it becomes outward. Do not miss that. You may expect immediate visible change, but often I begin by restoring order within you. I release peace before I release the door. I release clarity before I release the opportunity. I release courage before I release the next assignment. I release healing before I release the new season. That is not delay. That is mercy. Because what I give outwardly lasts longer when your inner life can hold it. So do not despise the first shifts. Pay attention to the subtle changes. Notice when your mind becomes quieter. Notice when the panic loosens. Notice when the urge to run weakens. Notice when your spirit begins to feel less crowded. Those are not small things. That is me beginning to move. And I want you to understand what I mean when I say, watch what I release next, because I do not want you to hear that like a vague promise floating in the air. I want you to hear it as a living invitation to participate in the next chapter with me. When you listen now, when you respond now, you position yourself differently. You become easier to guide. You become more able to recognize the doors when they open. You become more available to peace instead of constantly negotiating with inner resistance. You become more aligned with the blessings I have been trying to place into your hands. That matters more than you realize. You have been wanting breakthrough as if it is one large event, one dramatic shift, one sudden moment where everything changes at once. Sometimes I do move that way, but often what you call breakthrough begins like dawn. It starts with a line of light on the horizon, then another, until the room that felt dark is suddenly full of morning. I want you to watch for that kind of movement. Do not only look for thunder. Look for light. Do not only wait for the mountain to move. Pay attention when the fog starts lifting. Do not dismiss the holy work of small obedience because it does not look spectacular enough for your imagination. Some of the greatest changes in your life will begin with hidden choices no one else applauds. They will begin when you close the door to what weakens you. They will begin when you finally stop returning to the same compromise. They will begin when you choose prayer over numbing, truth over avoidance, forgiveness over inner rehearsing, stillness over constant noise, surrender over self-protection. These are not tiny things. These are keys. Use them. Turn them. Open what I am placing in front of you. I am ready to release more peace than you have been carrying. I am ready to release steadiness where you have lived in inner turbulence. I am ready to release wisdom that cuts through confusion. I am ready to release strength that does not come from adrenaline or emotion, but from alignment. I am ready to release restoration in places you thought were too far gone. I am ready to release new beginnings that do not look like the old season, but are healthier, cleaner, and more deeply rooted. I am ready to release favor in places where you have felt blocked, but I need you to understand that favor lands differently in a surrendered life. It settles. It stays. It is not wasted on divided attention. So make yourself ready, my child, not by performing, but by yielding. Prepare your inner room. Sweep out what has been cluttering it. Open the windows. Let fresh air in. Return to simple prayer. Return to daily honesty. Return to the secret place where your soul remembers what it feels like to breathe. Invite me into your routines. Invite me into the hour when you usually drift. Invite me into the thoughts that turn dark when you are tired. Invite me into the exact places where you used to handle everything alone. Then watch. Watch what begins to soften. Watch what begins to shift. Watch what begins to heal. Watch what begins to open. Watch how the very areas that felt impossible start becoming places of movement. Not because you forced me, not because you earned me, not because you became perfect, but because you finally stopped resisting what I was saying and stepped into agreement with it. That is what this whole message hath been leading to. Not pressure for its own sake, not fear for its own sake, not urgency without purpose. This has all been my hand on your shoulder, my voice in your ear, my love reaching into your life and saying, do not miss what is still within reach. So answer me now, not tomorrow, not after one more cycle, not after one more collapse into the same pattern. Now, put your yes where your heart is being stirred. Let your next action prove that you heard me. Then keep walking. Keep listening. Keep choosing the cleaner path. Keep returning when I call. And as you do, you will discover that what I release next is not only blessing around you, but is transformation within you. It is the return of peace. It is the return of clarity. It is the return of spiritual strength. It is the return of a heart that can hear me without so much interference. It is the beginning of the life you have been praying for while standing just outside the door. Step through it now, my beloved child. I am here. I am ready. Listen and watch what happens next. Now you stand at the moment of decision, and what you do next matters more than what you felt while listening. If my voice has reached you, then let your response carry it further. Become a partner in releasing what I am already pouring out. When you give through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you are opening doors for my word to reach souls who are still waiting for their breakthrough. I have declared, whoever sows generously will also reap generously, and I am ready to prove that in your life. This is not coincidence. This is a divine appointment, a moment I have set before you. Do not let it pass into later. Act now, give now, and watch how I release peace, provision, and purpose back into your hands as you step into agreement with me. My child, do not let this word pass you by in silence. If you know I have spoken to your heart today, then seal this moment with your faith and write in the comments, I choose obedience, and I will not lose my divine blessings. Let that be more than words. Let it be your line in the sand, your holy yes, your bold declaration before heaven and before your own soul. Type it with intention, because what you declare in faith can become the turning point that breaks delay and opens the door to what I have been trying to release. Do not scroll away unchanged. Comment it now, receive it now, and step into the blessing you almost missed. And as you make that declaration, let your heart remain open before me. Obedience is not simply a promise you speak, it is a posture that allows my peace to settle over every anxious corner of your soul. You have chosen to say yes, and now I want to meet you in the place where you have been carrying burdens no one else can see. Don't rush back into the noise that has been demanding your attention. Stay here with me for just a little longer. I know the weight you've been trying to bear, and I never intended for you to carry it alone. Before I lead you into the blessings I have prepared, I want to strengthen the heart that has grown weary from carrying tomorrow's worries all by itself. My child, stop for a moment. Take a deep breath. I see the heavy weight you are carrying on your weary shoulders today. I see the intense pressure at your job that makes you feel like you are constantly running out of time and energy. I hear the unspoken tensions in your family, the quiet arguments and misunderstandings that leave you feeling completely drained and empty inside. I know the deep, hidden fear of the future that keeps you awake in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling. You often feel overlooked, like you are just another face in the crowd, invisible to the busy world around you. But you are never invisible to me. I see you. I know you. I love you deeply. Listen to my voice right now. This is not just another random message on your screen or another passing thought in your busy mind. This is a divine appointment. I am speaking directly into the messy, beautiful reality of your everyday life. I want you to recognize the sacred nature of my voice amid the loud, confusing noise of your world. You spend so much of your precious time listening to the news, to the harsh opinions of others, and to the endless doubts in your own head. I am commanding you to tune your ears to my frequency today. There is a massive difference between casually hearing a message and spiritually listening to your Creator. Casual hearing goes in one ear and slips out the other, leaving you unchanged. Spiritual listening anchors my eternal truth deep into the soil of your soul, producing real, lasting change. My blessings are not just random gifts that I toss down from the sky. They are a covenant, a sacred and active partnership between you and me. I am offering you a firm hand to hold, but you must reach out and take it. Do you feel that tight knot in your stomach? That anxious, heavy feeling pulling you down? That is not for me. Let us undo that knot together right now. Release your tight grip on your daily worries. I invite you to step into a powerful relationship where your daily obedience meets my endless provision. When you listen to my specific instructions, you align your entire life with the steady flow of my grace. You open the heavy floodgates for purpose, power, and peace to wash over your daily struggles. Sometimes, you wonder why I seem so quiet. You ask me for clear answers, and you feel like you hear nothing but empty silence. Do not mistake my silence for absence. My silence is never an abandonment. It is a direct invitation. It is a deliberate call for you to seek me deeper. Think of the quiet, heavy pause right before a massive storm breaks, the absolute stillness that demands your full attention. That is exactly what my silence is like. I quiet the room of your life so you will lean in closer to me. I want you to push past the worldly distractions and seek my face with all your heart. When you search for me with genuine hunger, you will always find me waiting right beside you. Close your eyes for a second. Do you feel the gentle, undeniable pull in your chest? That is my spirit, drawing you near. It is a profound, unmatched honor to be chosen, to be set apart to receive this divine instruction. Out of billions of wandering souls, I am calling your specific name in this exact moment. Your response to my word today determines the true depth of our fellowship tomorrow. If you choose to ignore this call, you risk walking out from under the safe umbrella of my divine protection and blessing. I command you to let go of your stubborn self-reliance. Choose to walk with me. Let my voice be the loudest, clearest sound in your life. Say yes to me today, and watch how I carefully and beautifully rewrite the story of your future. I want you to understand the beautiful, powerful bond we share. My promises to you are incredibly strong, like an ancient, immovable mountain. I will never break my word, and I will never walk away from you. But you must realize that my blessings are not magic tricks that happen while you sit back and do nothing. I am inviting you into a deep, active partnership. I offer you an amazing life, but you have to walk with me to experience it. You often read my promises and wait for them to fall right into your lap. I am telling you today that I require your active, willing participation. I hold out a secure bridge over the troubled waters of your life, but I command you to take the actual steps to walk across it. I see how you struggle to balance my grace with your own responsibilities. You sometimes think that because I love you, I will automatically shield you from every single bad decision you make. I love you too much to leave you without discipline. We have an if and then relationship written throughout history. If you listen to my voice and follow my commands, then I will open the windows of heaven and pour out blessings you cannot even measure. Obedience is the sturdy bridge that connects my heavenly will directly to your earthly reality. When you choose to obey me in the small, unseen moments of your day, you are literally building the road for your own miracle to arrive. Look at your life like a massive, violent rainstorm is raging all around you. The wind is howling, and the cold rain is blinding. I have provided a massive, unbreakable umbrella of protection for you. As long as you stay close to me, standing directly under that umbrella, you are completely safe and dry. But when you choose willful negligence, when you deliberately ignore my gentle warnings and walk your own way, you step out from under my protective cover. You get soaked by the freezing rain of the world's consequences. I am calling you to come back under the umbrella right now. Step out of the harsh storm of your own pride. I want to refine your understanding of what my grace truly means. Grace is not an excuse to ignore my loving instructions. Grace is the power I give you to actually follow them. When your heart beats in perfect rhythm with my commandments, something incredibly beautiful happens in your life. The heavy stress of trying to figure everything out on your own simply melts away. You stop fighting against the current and start flowing with my divine purpose. I command you to look closely at your daily habits today. Are you working with me, or are you secretly fighting against me? Choose this day to tighten the bond between us. I am ready to do the impossible in your life, but I need your daily, practical obedience. I need you to trust me enough to do exactly what I say, even when it completely contradicts your own logic. Your obedience is the highest form of worship you can give me. When you say yes to my commands, you unlock a steady, powerful flow of peace that will totally transform your mind, your home, and your future. I watch you wake up every single morning, and I see exactly what you do. Before you even speak a word to me, you reach for your phone. You immediately let a million loud, chaotic voices rush straight into your mind. I see you scrolling through the endless bad news, the angry arguments, and the fake, perfect lives of others. I see the heavy anxiety instantly settle on your chest before you even step out of bed. I am commanding you to stop letting the world dictate the condition of your soul. I want you to learn how to aggressively discern the useless distractions that drown out my still, small voice. You cannot hear my quiet whisper of direction when you have the volume of the world turned all the way up to the maximum. You are constantly surrounded by the aggressive noise of earthly logic. Your coworkers, your friends, and the culture around you are always telling you how to live, how to spend your money, and how to handle your deeply broken relationships. They push you to fight back, to hold on to bitter grudges, and to put yourself first at all costs. I am warning you that prioritizing their earthly logic over my heavenly wisdom is a dangerous, deadly trap. When you listen to the loud counsel of the ungodly, you slowly drift away from the safe harbor of my truth. I want you to fiercely guard your ears. Do not let just anyone speak into your spirit. I plant beautiful, powerful seeds of blessing inside your heart every day. I give you seeds of fresh hope, exciting new ideas, and deep, lasting peace. But I see the sharp thorns of your daily life choking those precious seeds before they can even grow. The thorns of your unpaid bills, your stressful deadlines, and your petty arguments with family members are suffocating the life I am trying to give you. You are allowing the subtle, shifting trends of the culture to slowly pull you away from the solid rock of my eternal truth. I am inviting you to pull up those sharp weeds today. Stop feeding your fears and start feeding your faith. You desperately need to establish a sanctuary of pure silence in your daily routine. I do not mean just turning off the television. I mean completely silencing your racing thoughts, your endless to-do lists, and your deep-seated worries. I command you to carve out a specific time and place every single day where you sit quietly with me. Close the door. Breathe deeply. Let the heavy mud of your frantic life settle to the bottom so the water of your mind can become crystal clear again. When you intentionally disconnect from the loud, chaotic matrix of the world, you suddenly reconnect with the life-giving power of my spirit. You will start to hear me with perfect clarity. I will tell you exactly which path to take, which relationships to let go of, and which bold new steps to make. But I cannot shout over the deafening noise you allow in your life. I invite you to lower the volume of the world today, and let my calming voice be the loudest sound in your entire existence. I need you to listen to this warning with your entire heart. There is a very real, very present danger hiding in your life right now, and it is called spiritual deafness. I watch it happen to so many of my beloved children. It does not happen overnight. It is a slow, gradual hardening of the heart that occurs when you repeatedly ignore my gentle calls. Every single time I prompt you to forgive someone, and you choose to stay angry, a tiny layer of hard callus forms over your spirit. Every time I ask you to give generously, and you hold your money tightly in fear, that callus grows thicker. Over time, your chronic, daily disobedience creates a dark, heavy veil between us. I feel a profound, aching sorrow when you choose to walk down a path of darkness over my clear, bright light. I see you heading straight toward an avoidable disaster, and I call out your name, but your spiritual ears are blocked by the thick wax of your own pride. I am not angry with you. I am deeply heartbroken for you. Because of your spiritual deafness, you walk straight into traps that you never had to experience. You endure intense, painful trials and long tribulations that I desperately wanted to save you from. I command you to soften your heart today. Let me break through the thick, protective shell you have built around yourself. When you lose your spiritual hearing, you take a massive risk. You risk completely losing the special favor of the season I have placed you in. I open distinct, time-sensitive windows of opportunity for you. I align the right people, the right jobs, and the right breakthroughs. But because you are not listening, because you are totally distracted by your own desires, you sit frozen in inaction. You miss the exact moment I planned for your absolute triumph. Look back at the scriptural examples of those who turned away at the critical, defining moment. They wandered in the hot, dry wilderness for years because they refused to listen to my clear instructions. I do not want that for you. Do you feel a cold, empty distance between us right now? You feel like your prayers are just bouncing off a brass ceiling. That distance is not created by me. It is created by your unyielding choices. I invite you to repent, to change your mind and your direction right now. Acknowledge the areas where you have blatantly ignored my voice. I am incredibly quick to forgive and perfectly ready to restore our connection. I want to heal your spiritual deafness instantly. I command you to start saying yes to the very next thing I ask you to do, no matter how ridiculously small or insignificant it seems. It's simple. Immediate obedience acts like warm water melting away the hard ice around your heart. I want to speak deep secrets and massive revelations into your spirit, but you must prove that you are willing to listen. Clear the blockages today, and let my life-giving voice flood back into your soul. I see the heavy, exhausting backpack you carry around everywhere you go. It is completely stuffed with your desperate need to control everything, your deep desire to look successful to others, and your absolute demand to understand every single detail before you take a step. I command you to drop that heavy bag right now. It is crushing the life out of you. I am inviting you to approach my throne today with a truly teachable, soft, and contrite spirit. The proud, arrogant heart cannot hear the profound, life-changing secrets I reserve exclusively for the humble. You spend so much energy arguing with me in your mind. You tell me why my plan will not work, why you are not ready, or why I should do things your way instead. I need you to understand that your pride is actively blocking your own miracle. When you demand to understand the entire blueprint before you buy the bricks, you completely paralyze your faith. I command you to surrender your so-called right to understand everything before you obey. My thoughts are infinitely higher than your thoughts. You are trying to read a map of the universe with a magnifying glass. There is an explosive, undeniable power in simply saying, "Yes, Lord," before the full plan is revealed to you. Think about a small child holding the hand of a loving parent in a crowded city. The child does not know the exact route, the street names, or the final destination. The child simply trusts the strong hand holding theirs. I am that loving parent. I know exactly where we are going. I need you to stop demanding the itinerary and just hold my hand. When you blindly say yes to me, you unleash a torrent of heavenly resources into your situation. I am asking you to bend your stubborn knee today so that I may lift your heavy head in due time. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less and thinking of me more. When you finally admit that you do not have all the answers, you instantly become a massive magnet for my most precious, guarded blessings. Water always flows to the lowest point. In the exact same way, my grace always flows to the lowest, most humble heart in the room. I invite you to stop trying to be the self-made master of your own destiny. It is a lonely, tiring job that you were never designed to do. Let me be the master. Approach me with empty hands, totally willing to learn, completely ready to be corrected, and fully eager to follow. When you lower yourself in genuine humility, I promise you, I will elevate you in ways that will completely shock everyone around you. Trust my higher wisdom, submit your pride, and watch how quickly I move on your behalf. As you humbly submit your pride to receive my massive, divine blessings, I am fiercely calling you to become an active, powerful partner in building my eternal kingdom. I invite you today to join your hands directly with mine to desperately reach the deeply broken souls who are wandering in terrifying silence, completely deaf to my love. My word firmly declares to you right now that he who intentionally refreshes others will absolutely be violently refreshed himself. I bravely sowing a massive seed of financial support into this ministry today. You are forcefully pouring the sacred oil of healing directly over a severely bruised and bleeding world. This is absolutely not a casual coincidence. This is a highly urgent, divine appointment carefully designed to aggressively test your immediate obedience. As you give generously, I passionately promise to massively multiply your seed, tightly shield your entire home from the devourer, and rapidly pour out an unstoppable harvest of absolute favor over your finances. Step out in bold faith right this second. Use the super thanks. Fiercely commit as a faithful member, or click the exact PayPal link directly in the description, and powerfully ignite the light for someone deeply trapped in darkness. My beloved child, do not turn away from my voice right now. It deeply grieves my heart when you let the noisy, chaotic world pull you away just as I am about to speak the exact answer you have been desperately crying out for. If you walk away now, you are abandoning the very blueprint I am drawing for your complete deliverance. Do not leave this sacred space. Stay closely tethered to me. The very next revelation I have for you is the heavy, undeniable key that absolutely unlocks the heavy door you have been banging on for years. I am knocking directly on the front door of your current situation right now. Do you hear it? I am not just knocking on the doors of grand cathedrals. I am knocking on the door of your stressful office, your quiet living room, and your deeply broken relationships. I am visiting you today. I urgently need you to recognize the immense importance of timing in the kingdom of heaven. I operate in perfect seasons, and I need you to wake up and discern the specific season you are standing in right this very second. You often complain that nothing good ever happens to you, that you are stuck in a miserable, endless rut. But the absolute truth is, I constantly pass by you with massive opportunities, but you are completely asleep at the wheel. You are so consumed by apathy, so numb from the daily grind, that you completely miss the clear signs of my movement in your personal life. Missing your day of visitation is a profound tragedy. I bring the exact healing, the precise financial breakthrough, or the perfect relationship you begged for, but because you are not spiritually alert, the train leaves the station without you. I command you to shake off the heavy blanket of spiritual laziness. I want you to stay sharply alert and completely sober for the instructions I am about to give you. Some of the most powerful blessings I have for your life are strictly time-sensitive. They require your bold, immediate, unquestioning action. When I prompt you to make that phone call, to send that email, or to walk away from that toxic environment, you can't afford to wait until next month. If you hesitate, the divine window of opportunity slowly slides shut. You must learn to read the subtle changes in the spiritual atmosphere around you. Just as you know a cold winter is coming when the leaves turn brown and fall, you must learn to sense when a new season of my favor is arriving. Are you feeling a strange, sudden dissatisfaction with your current comfort zone? That is me, pushing you out of the nest. Are you feeling an unexplainable urge to pray or to read my word in the middle of the night? That is me, inviting you into a secret meeting. I command you to stop making excuses about why the timing is wrong. The timing is perfect because I am the Lord of time. If I am telling you to move, I have already prepared the solid ground for your feet to land on. I invite you to step boldly into the fresh, new season I am opening for you right now. Do not let fear or comfort hold you hostage. Recognize my clear knock. Throw the door wide open and welcome the explosive, life-altering change I am bringing straight into your home today. I see you waking up some mornings feeling completely empty and drained. You look at the overwhelming pile of unpaid bills on your kitchen counter. You see the demanding messages flooding your phone, and you feel the heavy weight of expectations pressing down on your chest. On those hard days, you do not feel like doing the right thing. You do not feel like being patient with your children. You do not feel like giving your best effort at work, and you certainly do not feel like praying to me. I need you to listen to me very carefully right now. I command you to move beyond your fragile feelings. Feelings are like the changing weather. They blow in and out, leaving you confused and unstable. Obedience is not an emotion you wait for. It is an architecture you choose to build, one single brick at a time. I am calling you to choose obedience even when your heart is heavy and your energy is entirely gone. Your entire life is built on the strong foundation of consistent, small acts of faithfulness. You often look for a massive, sky-splitting miracle to suddenly fix all your problems, but you completely ignore the quiet, daily choices that actually create the space for that miracle to arrive. When you choose to speak kindly to your spouse instead of snapping in anger, you are laying a brick. When you choose to do your job honestly when no one is watching, and you could easily cut corners, you are laying another brick. I command you to pay attention to your private integrity. Who are you when the doors are closed and the lights are out? The profound connection between your hidden, private choices and your visible, public blessings is unbreakable. You cannot live a life of secret compromises and expect me to pour out a public reward. I see everything you do in the dark, and I want to bless you in the brilliant light of day. I invite you to treat my word as the final, absolute authority in every single decision you make. Stop taking a poll of your friends' opinions to decide what is right for your life. Stop letting popular culture dictate your morals and your boundaries. When you are faced with a difficult choice, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, and ask me for the blueprint. If my word says to forgive, then you forgive, regardless of how deeply you were hurt. If my word says to give generously, you give, even when your bank account looks frighteningly low. That is what true obedience looks like in the grit and grind of everyday reality. When you start living this way, something beautiful and unexpected will happen inside you. You will discover a deep, unshakable joy that has absolutely nothing to do with your external circumstances. There is a profound, resting peace that immediately follows a difficult task completed for my glory. You will put your head on your pillow at night and know that, despite the chaos around you, you are walking in perfect step with your Creator. I command you to start building today. Pick up the brick of obedience that is lying right in front of your feet. Lay the foundation today, and I promise you, I will build a magnificent, secure future on top of it. Let us sit together for a moment and look closely at the hidden garden of your heart. This is the sacred soil where I plant my most precious seeds of blessing, hope, and vision for your future. But as I look at your soil today, I see that it is badly overgrown. I see the sharp, ugly weeds of bitterness creeping around your joy. I see the deep, hidden roots of resentment you are holding against the person who betrayed your trust years ago. I see the anger you still carry from that painful conversation you had last week. I am commanding you right now to start pulling up those weeds. You cannot grow my heavenly blessings in a heart that is completely choked by the toxic weeds of earthly offenses. I know exactly how much they hurt you. I saw the tears you cried in secret. I know the profound injustice of what they did to you, and I am not asking you to pretend it did not happen. I am commanding you to forgive them so that you can finally be free. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to the person who broke your heart. It is a desperate necessity to keep the flow of my grace wide open in your own life. When you refuse to forgive, you are drinking deadly poison and expecting the other person to die. You are building a thick, concrete wall between my blessings and your life. I invite you to release your tight, angry grip on your right to stay offended. Let it go. Give the offense to me, and let me be your defender and your judge. You must aggressively protect your peace from the enemy's constant attempts to sow discord and chaos in your mind. The adversary loves to drop tiny seeds of suspicion, jealousy, and comparison into your thoughts. He points out how much easier your neighbor's life seems or how your coworker received the promotion you deserved. Do not water those toxic seeds with your attention. I command you to rip them out the second they touch your mind. Replace the toxic jealousy with the pure, life-giving water of gratitude. Gratitude is the most powerful weed killer in the spiritual realm. When you intentionally speak out loud the things you are thankful for, you instantly change the entire atmosphere of your mind and your home. I want you to invite my spirit to search your heart today. Ask me to shine a bright, exposing light into the dark, hidden corners of your motives and your thoughts. Say to me, "Search me, Lord, and know my anxious thoughts." Point out anything in me that offends you. Do not be afraid of what I will find. I do not expose your hidden sins to shame you. I expose them so I can heal you and clean the soil. Tending to your heart is a daily, exhausting, but beautiful discipline. Guard this garden fiercely, my child. Keep the soil soft, keep the weeds out, and prepare yourself for the massive, beautiful harvest I am about to grow within you. I see the dark circles of exhaustion under your eyes. I see how you are desperately trying to hold your entire world together with your bare hands. You are stressing over your career. You are trying to micromanage your family, and you are constantly mapping out every possible scenario to avoid failure. You are running on empty, entirely fueled by your own sheer willpower and nervous anxiety. I command you to stop right now. Stop striving. Stop forcing doors open that I have clearly locked. The absolute vanity of building a life without me as your firm cornerstone is destroying your peace. You are building a massive, heavy house on shifting sand, and you live in constant terror that the next storm will bring it all crashing down. When you stubbornly rely on your own limited strength, you are guaranteeing your own eventual burnout. You were never, ever designed to carry the heavy burdens you are dragging around today. The spiritual cost of leaning on your own understanding is incredibly high. It costs you your joy, it robs you of your sleep, and it blinds you to the miraculous solutions I have already prepared for you. You look at a massive problem in your life, and you immediately try to calculate a way out using only your human logic. When your math fails, you fall into deep despair. I am asking you today, when will you stop trusting your flawed math and start trusting my infinite power? Your stubborn self-will is acting as a massive, impenetrable barrier to my divine intervention. I am standing right next to you, holding the exact key you need, but your hands are too tightly clenched into fists of control to receive it. There is a profound difference between a self-made success and a God-given blessing. You can definitely hustle, grind, and manipulate your way to a certain level of earthly success. But that kind of success will leave you feeling completely hollow inside. It requires constant, paranoid maintenance, and it will eventually crush you under its weight. But the blessing that comes from my hand makes you truly rich, and I add absolutely no sorrow or crushing stress to it. I am extending a personal, urgent invitation to you right now. Take that heavy, agonizing burden you have been carrying, the fear of failure, the financial panic, the desperate need to control your loved ones, and lay it completely down at my feet. Do not just lay it down and then pick it back up when you walk away. Leave it with me. I am strong enough to hold your world together. I command you to take a deep, cleansing breath of surrender. Acknowledge that you do not have all the answers, and let that realization be a relief instead of a terror. Step out of the exhausting driver's seat of your life, and let me guide you into a profound, lasting rest. You sit in the dark, completely overwhelmed by the choices screaming for your attention. Should you take that new job? Should you let go of that specific relationship? How do you handle the impossible situation facing your family right now? You feel like you are wandering blindly through a thick, dangerous forest at midnight, tripping over your own doubts and fears. I am handing you a blazing torch right now, but you are leaving it unlit. My word, the scriptures you let gather dust on your shelf or ignore on your phone, is not a dead, boring history book. It is a living, breathing, incredibly sharp guide designed to illuminate your exact next step. I command you to pick it up and engage with it today. You do not realize how many hidden traps the adversary has carefully laid out on your path. He uses smooth lies, deceptive cultural trends, and even the well-meaning but flawed advice of your friends to lead you straight into a ditch. My word perfectly exposes every single one of those hidden traps. When you read my truth, the dark, confusing shadows in your mind are instantly shattered by blinding light. But you cannot use a weapon you have never practiced with. I invite you to stop scrolling through meaningless distractions and start meditating on my ironclad promises daily. Let my truth sink so deeply into your mind that they become your automatic response to every crisis. When panic hits your chest, I want you to use the sword of the Spirit to violently cut through the confusion. Do not just sit there and let fear paralyze you. I command you to align your spoken words with the unshakable truths found in my gospel. If you feel weak, you open your mouth and declare aloud that I am your strength. If you feel surrounded by enemies, you declare aloud that I am your impenetrable shield. Stop speaking the language of defeat and start speaking the language of my kingdom. Your words have explosive power to direct your life. So stop agreeing with the darkness and start violently agreeing with my light. I have a specific, urgent Rhema word, a perfectly timed, custom-made message waiting for you regarding your current, specific struggle. I know exactly what you need to hear to break the chain holding you back today. But I will not shout it over the noise of your television or the chaos of your complaining. You must open the book. You must ask my Spirit to highlight the exact truth you need for this very hour. I am waiting to speak directly to your deepest pain and your loudest question. I invite you to open my word right now. Let the light flood into your dark room, and let me show you exactly which way to walk. Now that you have boldly chosen to act and let my living word violently illuminate your personal path, I am strongly commanding you to help carry this blazing torch directly to the deeply lost. I am directly inviting you to forcefully partner with me today to brutally shatter the heavy, suffocating chains of deception holding millions of precious souls in absolute darkness. Every single time you aggressively sow a financial seed into this specific message, you are physically dropping heavy buckets of life-saving, living water directly onto the completely parched, dying deserts of humanity. I speak this eternal promise directly over you. Give, and it will be aggressively given to you. A completely good measure, violently pressed down, fiercely shaken together, and wildly running over. Do not hesitate for a single second and let this incredibly urgent, divine window of opportunity rapidly close on your watch. When you sacrificially fund the fierce spreading of my truth, I fiercely promise to radically protect your fragile finances, heavily multiply your daily bread, and rain down impossible, earth-shattering miracles over your family. Take immediate, bold action today by giving a super thanks, joining as a steadfast member, or utilizing the PayPal link completely provided in the description to massively fund this heavenly rescue mission. I see the heavy urge to pause, to look away, to return to your empty earthly distractions. But I implore you, do not break this holy connection. It brings profound sorrow to my spirit when you choose to walk back out into the brutal battlefield completely unarmed, right when I am actively handing you the fierce weapons to win. If you stop listening now, you leave your fragile mind unprotected. I am urgently calling you deeper. Press in. Do not abandon me in this crucial moment, because what I am about to tell you will violently shatter the remaining chains holding you back. I hear the exact words you whisper to yourself every time I ask you to move. You say, "I will do it later." You tell me you will forgive that person later when the pain fades. You say you will start serving me later when your schedule clears up. You promise you will obey my voice later when you feel more prepared and less afraid. I am speaking to you with immense authority right now. Later is the most dangerous enemy of my now for your life. Procrastination is not just a harmless, lazy habit. It is a dark, paralyzing spirit designed to totally sabotage your divine destiny. I command you to break your agreement with delay today. You do not realize the massive amount of spiritual momentum you lose every single time you hesitate. I line up perfect opportunities. I prepare the hearts of the people you need, and I set the stage for your absolute breakthrough. But when you delay my clear instructions, the window of opportunity begins to close, and fire I started in your heart slowly turns to cold ash. You must understand that partial obedience, or delayed obedience, is still a form of blatant disobedience. If I tell you to step out of the boat, and you stand on the edge negotiating the weather with me, you are rebelling against my loving leadership. I am calling you to completely break the heavy chains of hesitation through bold, immediate faith. When you feel that knot of fear in your stomach right before you take a step of obedience, that is your signal to move forward aggressively, not to pull back. The calling I have placed upon your soul is incredibly urgent. There are specific people in your life right now who are desperately waiting for you to step into your God-given authority. Your delay is actively hurting the people I have called you to bless. You cannot afford to waste another single day trapped in the prison of "I am not ready yet." I invite you to seize this exact moment of grace before it passes you by. Stop looking at the calendar. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions, and stop letting fear hold you perfectly still. I command you to take the leap today. Make the phone call you have been putting off. Have the difficult, honest conversation you are dreading. Start the project I planted in your heart months ago. Do it afraid if you have to, but do it now. The instant you take that first, terrifying step, I promise you will feel my massive, undeniable power rush in to support you. Stop waiting for later. Your miracle is waiting for you in the immediate now. Choose to act today. I see you staring at your bank account late at night. I watch the tight, anxious knot form in your chest as you constantly calculate the bills, the rent, the groceries, and the rising cost of simply staying alive. You feel a deep, agonizing pressure to hold tightly onto every single penny you have because the spirit of fear loudly tells you that you will never have enough. I am commanding you right now to break that heavy spirit of lack over your life. I invite you to step into a completely different economy, my heavenly economy. When I ask you to honor me with the first fruits of all your increase, I am not trying to take something away from you. I already own everything in the entire universe. I am trying to get something incredibly powerful into your hands. I want you to understand the profound, protective sanctity of the tithe and the offering. Your financial stewardship is a direct, undeniable reflection of the true condition of your heart. When you hold your money with a tight, terrified fist, you are loudly declaring that you trust your employer, the government, and your fragile bank more than you trust your Creator. I command you to open your hands today. Trust my absolute, unfailing provision more than you trust a volatile earthly economy. Giving is not just a polite religious duty. It is brutal, aggressive spiritual warfare. Every single time you give generously when you are secretly afraid, you are striking a massive blow against the enemy who desperately wants to keep you enslaved to poverty and greed. You are violently breaking the heavy chains of financial anxiety. I promise you the wide open windows of heaven for your faithful obedience. If you bring the whole tithe into my storehouse, I will pour out a blessing so massive that you will not even have enough room to store it. You see a dollar leaving your hand, but I see a powerful seed entering the incredibly fertile soil of my kingdom. I invite you to learn the unbreakable, universal principle of the seed. A farmer can't reap a massive harvest if he eats his seeds out of fear of the coming winter. He must bravely bury them in the dark, cold dirt and completely trust the rain. I am your rain. I am your ultimate, unfailing provider. I know how hard you work. I see the long, exhausting hours you put in just to keep your head above water. You feel like you are constantly running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up, and no matter how fast you run, you can never quite catch up. The world tells you to hoard, to panic, and to build higher, thicker walls around your resources. I am calling you to do the exact opposite. I command you to live with an open, radically generous spirit. When you give to the poor, when you support my kingdom, you are actively participating in a massive, divine exchange. You trade your limited, easily depleted resources for my limitless, eternal supply. Say yes to this invitation. Release your tight grip on the dangerous illusion of control. The very moment you decide to trust me totally with your finances, a heavy, suffocating weight will instantly lift off your shoulders. You will stop seeing yourself as a helpless victim of the economy and start seeing yourself as a powerful, secure conduit of my grace. I am calling you to become a flowing river, not a stagnant pond. Let my blessings flow freely through your life. Give boldly, live generously, and prepare to witness the impossible math of heaven at work in your everyday reality. I want to talk to you about your closest, most fiercely loyal companion. You often feel incredibly lonely, as if you are wandering through life completely isolated and deeply misunderstood. I see you desperately looking for comfort in empty entertainment, in the temporary approval of others, and in shallow, exhausting relationships. I command you to stop searching the dry, dusty desert for water. I have already placed a deep well of living water directly inside you. I have given you the profound, intimate fellowship of the Holy Spirit, but you are treating him like a total stranger living in your own home. I invite you to start nurturing a daily, continuous conversation with my Comforter. He is not a distant, confusing force. He is my very presence, living and breathing directly inside your chest. You need to quickly learn the distinct, beautiful language and the gentle, specific promptings of my spirit. He rarely yells over the chaos. He speaks in the quiet, undeniable knowings in your gut, the sudden urge to call a hurting friend, or the deep, unexplainable peace that suddenly washes over you during a massive crisis. I command you to pay extremely close attention to the checks and releases in your soul. When you are about to make a bad decision, sign a terrible contract, or enter a toxic, damaging relationship, My spirit will give you a heavy, uncomfortable warning in your spirit. Do not ever ignore that warning. When you are exactly on the right path, even if it looks terrifying to your natural eyes, He will give you a profound release of deep, stabilizing peace. That peace that utterly surpasses all human logic is the absolute guarantee of my presence. I must warn you about the severe, tragic danger of grieving the Spirit through persistent, stubborn rebellion. When you repeatedly ignore His gentle tugs, when you willfully choose to walk into the darkness after He has clearly shown you the light, you slowly numb your spiritual sensitivity. You begin to lose your internal compass, and that is exactly when you drift into dangerous, rocky waters. I do not want you to live a fragile life tossed around by every passing storm. I invite you to lean deeply into His fellowship today. Talk to Him as you drive to work in the morning traffic. Ask Him for sharp wisdom before you send that difficult, emotional email. Invite Him to heal the hidden, bleeding wounds in your traumatic memories. Think back to that incredibly dark night when you were crying alone on the floor of your bedroom. You felt totally shattered, completely out of options. Suddenly, for absolutely no logical reason, a wave of profound, calming warmth washed over your trembling body. That was not a random coincidence. That was the Holy Spirit holding you tightly in His arms. I see how deeply you crave that kind of pure, unconditional comfort. I want you to know that you do not have to wait for a massive crisis to experience His presence. I command you to invite Him into the boring, mundane moments of your regular Tuesday afternoon. Ask Him to help you organize your chaotic, overwhelming schedule. Ask Him to give you the exact, perfect words to say to your frustrated child. When you turn your daily life into a continuous, running conversation with my Spirit, you will instantly unlock a level of supernatural joy that the world simply cannot understand or take away. Walk perfectly in step with Him today. I see you constantly scrolling through endless opinions on your screen, listening to dozens of different, loud voices telling you how you should live, what you should believe, and exactly who you should trust. Your mind is constantly spinning, feeling dizzy and deeply confused by the conflicting, irresistible messages of the culture. I am commanding you right now to firmly anchor your soul in the unshakable bedrock of my eternal truth. We are living in a dangerous time of massive, widespread deception, and the enemy's absolute favorite tactic is twisting my words just enough to lead you quietly and smoothly astray. He does not always come dressed as a terrifying monster. He often comes dressed as a charming online guru, a highly successful influencer, or even a well-meaning friend offering logical advice that secretly poisons your pure faith. I invite you to become fiercely, unapologetically protective of your mind. You must actively test every single spirit and every piece of advice to ensure it perfectly aligns with my established character. If a message tells you to be selfish, to hold on to bitter grudges, or to prioritize your personal comfort over genuine, costly obedience, I promise you, that message is absolutely not from me. I command you to stay deeply rooted in sound, biblical doctrine to avoid being violently tossed around by the massive waves of modern cultural trends. You simply cannot survive the coming storms on shallow, emotional faith alone. You desperately need deep, intellectual, and spiritual roots deeply planted in my word. You must learn to recognize the highly dangerous wolf in sheep's clothing operating quietly inside your own inner circle. I am talking about the people who comfortably speak the language of faith but secretly drain your peace, cleverly manipulate your kindness, and constantly sow toxic doubt into your spirit. I invite you to ask me for the powerful gift of sharp spiritual discernment today. I will give you the precise eyes to see right through the fake smiles, the hidden agendas, and the hollow promises. Do not be afraid to set rigid, holy boundaries to protect your calling. You cannot possibly fulfill your divine destiny if you are constantly entertaining the lies of the adversary. I know exactly how exhausting it is to constantly second-guess everything you hear. You feel like you are walking completely blind through a dense, foggy minefield, terrified of making the wrong choice and totally ruining your future. I want to take that heavy, paralyzing burden of confusion off your shoulders today. My truth is not a complicated, hidden riddle that only a few special people can somehow solve. My truth is completely clear. It is pure, and it is entirely accessible to you right now. When you encounter a teaching or a piece of advice that causes heavy confusion, strange anxiety, or a frantic sense of panic in your spirit, I command you to step away immediately. My voice brings absolute clarity, sharp but loving conviction, and profound, resting peace. I invite you to wash your tired mind daily with the pure water of my scriptures. When you know the authentic, real currency of my word intimately, you will instantly spot a counterfeit bill the second it is handed to you. Stand your ground boldly today. Do not compromise your deep, God-given convictions just to fit into a confused, lost crowd. I am entirely with you, and my pure truth will always set you completely free. I see the hot, painful tears rolling silently down your tired face. I deeply feel the intense, burning heat of the incredibly difficult situation you are trapped in right now. You look up at the ceiling in the middle of the night and you scream, "Why is this happening to me? Are you punishing me? Have you forgotten me entirely?" I need you to listen to me with absolute, unbroken focus right now. I have not forgotten you for a single, fleeting second. I am intimately, deeply involved in every tiny detail of your pain. I want you to understand a profound, difficult truth. The severe trials you are facing right now are not my cruel rejection of you. They are my intense, loving preparation for your greatest blessing. You are currently standing in the very center of the refiner's fire. I intentionally allow the intense heat of life to burn away the ugly, useless dross of your character, the deep-seated pride, the toxic impatience, the hidden selfishness, and the fragile self-reliance that will eventually destroy you if left unchecked. I command you to stop fighting the painful, necessary pruning process and start cooperating with it so you can bear massive, beautiful fruit. Think of a master silversmith. He places the raw, dirty piece of silver right into the absolute hottest, most terrifying part of the roaring fire. He does not walk away or abandon his work. He sits right next to the flames, watching the metal closely, never once taking his eyes off it. You know exactly when he knows the silver is perfectly pure. He knows it is finally ready when he can look deep into the molten metal and see his own clear reflection staring back at him. I am the master silversmith. I am holding you safely in the fire right now, carefully and precisely burning away everything that is not of me, until I can look closely at your character and see the perfect, beautiful reflection of my Son, Jesus. I invite you to see the incredible, unmatched beauty of a faith that has been violently tested and found completely pure. A faith that has never been tested is just a fragile, weak theory. A faith that has survived the blazing fire is an unbreakable, terrifying weapon against the darkness. I know you feel incredibly weak today. You feel like your legs are going to completely give out and you are going to collapse under the crushing, unfair weight of your circumstances. I command you to stop trying to be strong in your own limited, human power. I see how badly you want to find an easy, quick escape route. You spend hours secretly plotting how to run away from this highly uncomfortable season. I command you to stay exactly where I have planted you. Running away from the fire only guarantees that you will absolutely have to repeat the entire painful lesson later. Face the flames with profound, supernatural courage. When the enemy whispers in your ear that this fire is going to burn you alive and completely destroy your future, I command you to aggressively remind him of my ironclad promise. When you walk through the fire, You will absolutely not be burned. The roaring flames will not consume you. I am walking right beside you in the middle of the blazing furnace. I am the one regulating the thermostat. I will not let you endure one single degree of heat more than is absolutely necessary for your glorious, final transformation. Surrender your deep desire for immediate comfort and fully embrace my long-term plan for your magnificent character. The refined, pure gold I am pulling out of you will utterly amaze the entire world. You have bravely and totally embraced the fierce, roaring flames of my refining fire, and now I am passionately calling you to forcefully use your pure gold to aggressively build my heavenly kingdom. I am personally inviting you to fiercely stand with me directly on the front lines, actively funding the massive rescue of entirely shattered souls who are currently burning alive in their own terrifying trials. Your generous, sacrificial giving is the exact, life-saving rope that violently pulls drowning, hopeless people completely out of the suffocating, pitch-black ocean of worldly despair. I boldly declare to you that whoever aggressively brings blessing will be violently enriched, and whoever passionately brings a harvest of my truth will absolutely reap an eternal, massive reward. I am urgently whispering to your spirit right this very fraction of a second because this specific financial seed is a massive, highly time-sensitive catalyst for your own profound, unshakable breakthrough. Release your tight, terrified grip on your resources today, and I will fiercely unlock the heavily guarded windows of heaven, violently pouring an overwhelming avalanche of supernatural favor and absolute, ironclad protection directly over your entire life. Aggressively obey my voice right now by firmly clicking the super thanks button, bravely stepping up as a dedicated channel member, or violently sewing through the PayPal link in the exact description below. Are you growing weary? I command you to firmly resist the enemy's whisper telling you to stop listening. It pierces my heart with intense grief when you endure the painful, roaring fire of your trials, but boldly walk away right before your pure, refined gold is finally revealed. We are incredibly close to your absolute, earth-shaking breakthrough. I desperately need you to stay with me. Do not turn your back on my voice now, for the precise words I am about to speak are strictly designed to violently resurrect the dead dreams currently buried inside your chest. I see you constantly looking back over your shoulder, staring with deep regret at the messy, broken wreckage of your past mistakes. I see the heavy, suffocating blanket of shame you wrap tightly around yourself every single morning. You look at the wasted years, the badly broken relationships, the squandered money, and the foolish, painful choices you made when you stubbornly walked away from me. The enemy constantly whispers in your ear that you are forever damaged goods, that you have completely ruined my plan for your life, and that it is simply too late for you to ever be used by me again. I command you right now to stop listening to the toxic, lying voice of the accuser. I am speaking absolute, radical mercy over your entire life today. I extend my open, bleeding hands to you right now, to you, the one who wandered far into the dangerous shadows but is now desperately looking for a clear way back home. I invite you to take the immediate, necessary steps to repent and completely realign with my original, divine purpose for your life. Repentance is not me violently beating you over the head with a heavy stick of punishment. It is you finally turning around and running full speed back into the safe, incredibly warm arms of your Father. I make you a massive, supernatural promise today. I can and I will completely restore the valuable years that the destructive locusts have eaten. You think your time is gone forever, but I am the eternal Lord of time. I can accomplish far more in one single year of your radical, submitted obedience than you could ever achieve in 50 years of your own desperate, exhausting striving. I command you to start doing your first works over with raw, genuine sincerity. Go completely back to the simple, pure basics. Open your Bible again. Get back on your knees in the quiet of your room. Start worshiping me with the exact same passion and fire you had when you first realized I loved you. I invite you to bravely walk away from the dark, haunting shadows of your past failures and step boldly into the brilliant, exposing light of my fresh grace. You absolutely do not have to carry the heavy luggage of your past trauma into the beautiful, bright future I have carefully prepared for you. Drop the heavy bags right now. Leave them permanently at the foot of the cross. I know you feel like you are starting over from a severe and unfair disadvantage. You look at others who seemingly never strayed, and you feel a sharp pang of jealousy and deep, silent regret. I command you to stop comparing your messy, totally unique journey to anyone else's path. Your deep, painful brokenness is exactly what is going to make your testimony so incredibly powerful to others. The people who are currently trapped in the exact same dark prison you just escaped from will not listen to someone who has always been perfect. They will listen to you. I am actively, aggressively recycling your worst, most shameful mistakes into your greatest, most effective ministry. Every single tear you cried in the wilderness, every single night you spent agonizing over your bad decisions, I am using all of it to build a deep, unshakable empathy and fierce wisdom inside you. Do not let the devil use your past as a heavy anchor to drown you. Let me use your past as a powerful, undeniable megaphone to declare my endless mercy to a dying world. Welcome home, my precious child. Stop mourning over the dead ashes. I am handing you a beautiful crown. Your greatest chapter is just beginning right now. I see you finally taking a deep breath after a long season of intense, agonizing struggle. I watch how you carefully gather the fresh, beautiful blessings I have just handed to you. You secure the new job. You enjoy the restored relationship, and you feel the heavy, suffocating weight of financial panic slowly lift off your tired shoulders. But I also closely watch what you do next. You lock the heavy doors, you pull down the thick shades, and you quietly hoard these precious gifts entirely to yourself. I am commanding you to completely open your hands right now. You must urgently understand a deeply profound rule of my kingdom. To whom much is given, much is heavily and fiercely required. I do not bless you simply to make your personal life comfortable, isolated, and safe. I bless you so you can instantly become a massive, unstoppable conduit of radical hope for a deeply broken world. I fiercely invite you to look closely at the lonely, hurting people standing right next to you. You work beside someone whose fragile marriage is violently falling apart. You stand in line behind people who literally do not know how they will feed their hungry children tomorrow. I have strategically positioned you right in the absolute center of their quiet desperation on purpose. I command you to stop acting like a stagnant pool. A stagnant pool selfishly takes water in but never lets a single drop flow out, and eventually, the trapped water becomes deeply toxic, horribly bitter, and completely dead. I am strongly calling you to become a fiercely flowing river. When you freely and boldly pour out the grace, the money, and the love I consistently give you, I absolutely guarantee that I will keep your heavenly source completely full. Your entire daily lifestyle serves as the absolute greatest, most impactful sermon you will ever preach. You absolutely do not need a wooden stage or a loud microphone to boldly represent my massive kingdom. You represent me perfectly in the quiet way you generously tip the exhausted waitress, in the bold way you refuse to join the toxic, swirling gossip at your office, and in the sheer, undeniable excellence you bring to your mundane daily work. I command you to aggressively represent my holy name with absolute, unbroken integrity. When the lost, terrified world looks closely at your life, they should instantly see a brilliant, magnetic reflection of my radical love. I urgently want to warn you today. One day, I will ask you to give a full, detailed account for the specific talents, the unique platforms, and the massive resources I have personally entrusted to you. Did you bury your precious talent in the dark, cold dirt because you were completely paralyzed by the fear of failure? Did you build a comfortable, highly selfish little kingdom entirely for yourself? Or did you boldly and aggressively invest my resources directly into the messy lives of others? I invite you to step totally out of your comfortable safety zone today. Take the beautiful blessing I have generously given you and immediately use it to pull someone else directly out of the dark ditch. I am fiercely calling you to a life of massive, eternal impact. Stop hiding your brilliant light under a heavy basket. Let it shine so aggressively brightly that the entire dark world is violently forced to look up and clearly see my glory. I know exactly what you are staring at right now. I see you holding the terrifying, devastating medical report in your trembling hands. I see you looking at the massive, overwhelming mountain of crushing debt glaring on your computer screen. I see the painful, undeniable physical evidence loudly declaring that your specific situation is completely hopeless and permanently broken. The loud, chaotic world heavily screams at you to just give up, to accept the miserable defeat, and to quietly walk away. But I am commanding you to aggressively activate your spiritual belief this very second, especially when the brutal physical facts fiercely contradict my eternal promises. Cold facts can completely change overnight, but my living truth remains rock solid forever. I am personally handing you the heavy, completely unbreakable shield of faith today. True faith is not a warm, fuzzy feeling that randomly hits you when your life is going perfectly smoothly. Faith is a violent, aggressive protective barrier raised firmly against the deadly, burning darts of the enemy. When the adversary violently shoots a flaming arrow of intense, paralyzing panic straight at your tired mind, I command you to quickly raise that heavy shield. You do not block crippling panic by frantically overthinking your problems. You block massive panic by aggressively speaking my promises out loud. The intimate, unbreakable relationship between deeply hearing my word and rapidly growing your faith is absolute. You simply cannot starve your spirit of my truth for 6 long days and then expect to have massive, explosive faith on the very first day of a sudden crisis. I invite you to feed your faith daily so your heavy fears are forced to completely starve to death. You face a crucial, highly defining choice every single morning. You must boldly choose to confidently believe my heavenly report entirely over the dark, deeply pessimistic report of the world. The loud news channels will angrily tell you the entire economy is rapidly collapsing. Your deeply insecure friends will tell you that you are foolishly aiming way too high. I command you to aggressively tune out their fearful, toxic noise. Who are you going absolutely to believe? Are you going to deeply trust the fragile, highly limited logic of fearful men? Or are you going to completely trust the limitless, undeniable power of your absolute Creator? I say you are completely healed. I say you are totally provided for. I say your future is incredibly bright. I passionately want you to personally witness the explosive, earth-shaking miracles that are instantly birthed when your raw, desperate faith heavily collides with bold, immediate obedience. You absolutely have to take the terrifying actual step onto the chaotic water before the water becomes completely solid beneath your feet. I invite you to start aggressively strengthening your weak spiritual muscles through daily, highly intentional exercise. Do not passively wait for a massive, life-altering tragedy to start actively practicing your faith. Start today with the mundane, small things. Completely trust me with your chaotic daily schedule. Firmly trust me with that highly frustrating minor conflict at your workplace. When you consistently prove that you can deeply trust me in the safe, shallow water, I firmly promise you, I will safely and powerfully lead you completely out into the deep, miraculous oceans of my absolute power. Pick up your heavy shield right now. Stand your ground boldly, look the terrifying storm right in the eye, and fiercely declare that your God is actively fighting for you. I quietly watch you frantically pacing the floor of your house, completely frustrated, deeply exhausted, and highly anxious. You are sitting completely stuck in the highly uncomfortable, incredibly boring waiting room of life, and you honestly feel like I have totally forgotten your specific name. You jealously watch your friends quickly get married, easily secure incredible promotions, and proudly buy beautiful houses, while you remain absolutely trapped in the exact same difficult, stagnant place. A dark, bitter, cold resentment is slowly creeping into your tired, heavy heart. I command you to actively stop letting the toxic poison of jealousy completely steal your daily joy. I am intimately, deeply aware of your exact location. I have absolutely not forgotten you for a single second. I am actively operating on a precise, perfectly calculated timeline, and I urgently need you to fully understand the vital importance of my divine timing. You constantly and stubbornly try to forcefully kick down heavy, iron doors that I have deliberately locked tightly for your own massive protection. You foolishly think you are somehow helping me by violently forcing a highly toxic relationship to somehow work, or by desperately taking a stressful job that I clearly told you to firmly reject. I command you to aggressively drop the heavy crowbar today. The immense, terrifying danger of forcing your own stubborn way is that you will eventually get exactly what you demanded, but entirely without my protective, sustaining grace to hold it together. What you aggressively force open today will completely become a terrifying, suffocating prison tomorrow. I deeply invite you to totally surrender your frantic, panicked timeline directly to me right now. The absolute perfection of my heavenly clock is vastly, infinitely superior to the panicked rushing of your tiny, earthly calendar. There is a highly specific, deeply appointed moment called the absolute fullness of time, completely reserved for your absolute breakthrough. If I simply give you the massive blessing right now, while your personal character is still fragile and highly unready, the massive weight of that exact blessing will literally crush you to dust. I am actively using this painful, highly frustrating delay to build thick, incredibly strong pillars of character deep under your life. I invite you to deliberately and carefully develop the sweet, profound fruit of patience while you sit quietly in this waiting room. Patience is absolutely not just passively sitting around doing totally nothing. It is actively maintaining a powerful, highly positive attitude of deep trust while I fiercely work behind the dark scenes directly on your behalf. I urgently need you to permanently write this truth deeply on your tired heart. My deliberate delays are absolutely not my final denials. Just because the immediate answer is not yet does absolutely not mean the answer is a permanent no. I am actively lining up the exact right people, completely shifting immense resources, and literally moving massive mountains just to prepare the perfect, flawless environment for your miracle to safely land. I command you to patiently wait on me without completely losing your fragile heart or growing bitterly resentful. Stop frantically looking at your watch and start looking deeply into my face. Breathe in my profound, steady peace today. Your beautiful, perfectly timed season is absolutely coming, and when it finally arrives, you will clearly see that it was completely worth every single painful second of the wait. I quietly see you dragging yourself heavily into bed at the absolute, exhausting end of another brutally demanding day. Right before you fall quickly asleep, you quickly throw a half-hearted, totally empty prayer carelessly up at the dark ceiling, casually treating me like a highly convenient, cosmic vending machine. You simply list your daily demands, urgently ask me to fix your messy problems, and immediately check out. I firmly command you to completely stop offering me the cheap, leftover scraps of your divided attention. I am desperately inviting you to aggressively rebuild the completely broken altar of your deep personal devotion. The once bright fire of your passion has completely burned down to cold, deeply gray ashes. I aggressively want to ignite a blazing, totally uncontrollable fire directly in your spirit today. You drastically and completely underestimate the highly violent, explosive weapon you physically have right in your own mouth. Deep worship is absolutely not just singing a slow, pretty song on a Sunday morning. True worship is a massive, highly destructive spiritual weapon that forcefully clears the dark, totally oppressive atmosphere heavily hovering over your home. When you sharply feel a heavy, entirely suffocating anxiety aggressively pressing directly down on your chest, I command you to violently open your mouth and start loudly praising my name out loud. The enemy simply cannot possibly stand the sound of a completely broken person intentionally choosing to passionately worship in the direct, agonizing middle of their fiery pain. Your loud, defiant praise shatters his dark, heavy chain significantly faster than any human logic ever possibly could. I am aggressively and loudly calling you completely away from dry, totally dead, religious rituals. Empty religion simply tells you to coldly recite empty words just to casually check a highly boring, obligatory box. I am passionately inviting you deeply into raw, heartfelt, completely unfiltered communion. I intimately want you to urgently approach me not just merely for the stuff I can hand you, but for precisely who I am. Sit completely quietly in my holy presence without aggressively begging for a single, tiny thing. Just let me deeply, violently love you. When you boldly enter the intimate, quiet safety of the secret place, I will gently but firmly strip away the heavy, fake armor you constantly wear for the world and clearly reveal the deepest, most fiercely guarded secrets of my heart directly to yours. I urgently need you to totally realize that true, profound prayer forcefully changes you far more than it actually changes your immediate, chaotic situation. You constantly beg me to change your difficult boss, to miraculously change your stubborn spouse, or to rapidly change your deeply stressed finances. But as you stay continuously and stubbornly on your knees, I am actually completely changing your own internal perspective. I am actively removing your highly toxic pride, heavily expanding your limited, tiny vision, and forcefully pouring massive, deep peace directly into your loud, chaotic soul. I invite you to completely stop running away from my presence. Boldly come to the altar today. Bring your raw, messy tears, your highly angry doubts, and your heavy, totally exhausting fears. Lay them all aggressively on the fire, and fiercely maintain your burning, absolute devotion entirely to me. As you aggressively and beautifully lay your heavy fears completely on the blazing altar of true worship, I am fiercely asking you to passionately place a tangible, powerful sacrifice right beside them. I deeply desire for you to partner powerfully and completely with me today, directly ensuring that this desperate, actively dying world absolutely hears the massive, chain-breaking truth of my voice before it is too late. Your bold financial offering is the raw, highly combustible wood that violently feeds the roaring fire of this specific ministry, aggressively broadcasting my unshakable hope straight into millions of terrified, empty homes. I firmly declare to your spirit right now that where your earthly treasure is intentionally planted, your fiercely devoted heart will absolutely follow, violently anchoring your entire future in my secure, eternal kingdom. This massive, unexpected invitation to financially give is absolutely not a random accident. It is an incredibly urgent, prophetic command carefully engineered to violently break the agonizing, suffocating spirit of lack off your life entirely. As you aggressively honor me with your precious wealth, I completely guarantee a massive, supernatural multiplication of your earthly resources, violently placing a fierce, impenetrable hedge of heavenly fire completely around your daily provision. Do not delay your absolute obedience. Forcefully click the super thanks, officially and proudly join as a devoted member, or use the exact PayPal link securely placed in the description to furiously propel my word to the darkest ends of the earth. My precious one, do not dare leave me now. We have walked way too far together to stop when the glorious summit is standing right in front of your face. It breaks my heart when my children carelessly abandon the sacred altar just seconds before the heavenly fire aggressively falls. I have deliberately saved the most profound, life-altering, and massive truth entirely for this exact moment. If you close your tired ears to me now, you will entirely miss the massive, eternal favor I am actively preparing to pour over you. Today, listen fiercely. Let me finish the magnificent masterpiece I am performing in your soul. I clearly hear the incredibly ugly, highly destructive labels the loud world tries to permanently and aggressively paste onto your tired forehead every single day. The culture loudly and confidently calls you not enough, a total failure, way too old, or completely, irreversibly damaged. You quietly look directly in the mirror and you silently, tragically agree with those highly devastating lies. I am firmly commanding you right now to aggressively rip off every single one of those false, heavy labels. They are straight from the dark pit of hell itself. I fiercely invite you to start walking powerfully and completely in your absolute, totally unchangeable identity as my fully beloved, royal child. You are absolutely not a dirty beggar desperately hoping for a tiny, stale scrap of bread. You are a direct, fully authorized heir to the massive eternal kingdom, completely loaded with my limitless, unbreakable promises. You have absolutely spent way too many long years actively living your precious life completely paralyzed by the totally crippling spirit of profound fear. You constantly worry heavily about what other entirely broken people blindly think of you. You are completely terrified of simply making a minor mistake. I forcefully command you to instantly overcome that highly suffocating spirit of fear right now with the bold, highly aggressive spirit of true, royal sonship and daughterhood. When you truly know exactly, precisely who your heavenly Father is, you completely stop intensely apologizing simply for taking up totally valid space in the room. You naturally carry a massive, entirely undeniable spiritual authority exactly everywhere you boldly walk, simply because you know exactly whose you are. I urgently and desperately need you to completely shift your daily, completely defeated mindset. Stop frantically and exhaustingly fighting for a tiny place of victory, and start boldly and powerfully living from a deeply established place of absolute, final victory. The violent war has already been permanently and totally won completely all across. The dark enemy is already completely defeated, yet you still passively let him fiercely bully you right in the middle of your own mind. I command you to loudly and violently evict him entirely today. Aggressively remind him firmly of your divine, completely royal bloodline. Your true, unshakable identity deeply rooted entirely in me completely dictates your massive, earth-shaking destiny completely on this earth. If you constantly view yourself entirely as a worthless, tiny grasshopper, you will constantly live a highly small, totally terrified life. If you boldly view yourself as my powerful, unstoppable giant slayer, you will aggressively conquer entire massive mountains. I invite you to firmly, totally reject the crippling, highly toxic imposter syndrome that deliberately tries to aggressively choke you entirely when you boldly step into a new, incredibly big opportunity. You actually do totally belong directly in that specific room. You strictly deserve that exact, prime seat directly at the table, not because of your totally flawless earthly resume, but entirely because I specifically and deliberately placed you right there. I am commanding you to boldly hold your tired head up incredibly high today. Square your completely tired shoulders. Stop walking passively through your completely beautiful life looking quietly down directly at the dirty ground. You are totally chosen, thoroughly and deeply forgiven, completely fully equipped, and insanely, wildly loved. Boldly walk completely in that massive, unending power completely today, and fiercely let the entirely watching world see exactly what a deeply loved child of the Most High God truly, unapologetically looks like. I completely understand why you often choose to stay silent. I see you sitting quietly in the break room at your job, listening to your coworkers complain bitterly about the massive problems in the world, the terrible economy, and the complete lack of hope for the future. You feel a strong, sudden urge to speak up and mention my piece, but you quickly swallow your words. You are deeply afraid they will mock you, misunderstand you, or label you as naive. I am commanding you right now to stop hiding your fierce, beautiful faith in the dark. I passionately invite you to boldly acknowledge me before men so that I may proudly and loudly acknowledge you before my Father in heaven. Your public confession is not just a polite religious duty. It is a massive, earth-shattering weapon against the thick darkness of this world. You heavily underestimate the massive, undeniable weight of your personal testimony in overcoming the accuser. The enemy absolutely loves it when you secretly believe in me but never actually speak my name out loud. He knows that your silent faith poses zero threat to his dark kingdom. I command you to open your mouth today. I want you to start actively declaring my absolute goodness directly in the violent middle of your chaotic storm. When your bank account is dangerously low, and your friends ask how you are surviving, do not just complain with them. Look them right in the eye and boldly declare that your God is your ultimate, unfailing provider. When you loudly speak life and hope into a room completely filled with heavy death and deep despair, you instantly change the entire spiritual atmosphere. Your spoken words hold terrifying, explosive power. Every single time you open your mouth, you are violently building either a strong, sturdy bridge directly to your massive blessing or a thick, impenetrable wall to completely block it. I command you to perfectly align the words of your mouth with the quiet meditations of your completely devoted heart. You simply cannot spend an hour passionately praying to me in the secret of your bedroom, and then spend the next 8 hours at work aggressively complaining, gossiping, and speaking pure defeat over your own life. The deep, toxic contradiction completely short-circuits the massive power I am trying to release directly through you. I invite you to radically change your daily vocabulary starting this exact minute. Stop casually saying that your situation is totally hopeless, that your family is completely ruined, or that you will always be horribly broke. Stop aggressively agreeing with the loud, lying voice of the enemy. I command you to start actively practicing the profound, terrifying power of public praise. Tell your anxious children exactly how I rescued you in the past. Tell your deeply depressed friend that I can instantly heal their broken mind. When you boldly and aggressively testify about what I have done for you, you provide the absolute undeniable proof that the terrified people around you desperately need to see. Stop being so deeply ashamed of the only true source of light in the entire universe. Speak up boldly today, and furiously watch how your brave words violently shatter the heavy chains of the people carefully listening to you. I watch you constantly measuring your own spiritual growth, and I see exactly how you define your success. You count how many times you attend a church service. You measure how many complex Bible verses you can successfully quote from memory, and you track how much money you quickly drop into the offering plate. I urgently need to completely correct your entire perspective today. Those religious actions are perfectly fine, but they are absolutely not the true, undeniable evidence of my life actively growing inside you. I command you to closely examine your daily, unguarded conduct. The absolute greatest, most undeniable indicator of your genuine, deep connection to me is not your religious knowledge. It is the raw, radical love you actually show to deeply unlovable people. I am actively allowing my own holy, unshakable character to be slowly and carefully formed directly within your daily actions. I watch exactly how you react when someone aggressively cuts you off in heavy traffic. I see how you treat the exhausted, highly irritable cashier at the grocery store. I listen to the tone of your voice when you are incredibly tired and your spouse asks you a totally simple question. I command you to start demonstrating aggressive, supernatural self-control in this highly toxic age of instant gratification. The noisy world loudly tells you to instantly indulge every single passing emotion, to angrily blast your opinions all over the internet, and to quickly buy whatever makes you feel temporarily happy. I passionately invite you to completely reject the shallow, empty way of living. When you deliberately choose to exhibit deep, profound patience when you are totally justified in being fiercely angry, you instantly attract the massive, undeniable favor of both God and man. The powerful fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, is completely impossible to permanently fake. It requires the deep, sometimes highly painful, pruning of your old, selfish nature to perfectly reflect the beautiful, flawless image of my Son. When I take out my sharp pruning shears to cut away your toxic pride or your deep selfishness, I know it hurts, but I command you to totally submit to the cutting. I am violently removing the dead, useless branches so you can produce a massive, beautiful harvest that truly lasts forever. I want you to live a life that literally smells like the sweet, undeniable fragrance of heaven completely walking into the room. When you walk into your stressful, chaotic office, your deep, resting peace should instantly calm the anxious people around you. Your profound, unwavering joy should aggressively confuse the people who know exactly how hard your personal life is right now. This kind of radical, character-driven lifestyle is totally impossible to achieve using just your own limited, exhausting willpower. You must stay deeply, intimately connected directly to me, the true vine. I invite you to completely stop trying to forcefully tape fake fruit onto your dead branches. Let my Holy Spirit furiously flow through your veins today, and the beautiful, undeniable evidence of my nature will naturally and powerfully explode from your daily life. I deeply need you to sit completely still and listen to this severe, incredibly urgent warning with every single fiber of your being. I see a very dangerous, highly subtle drift actively happening in your spirit right now. You have slowly, almost completely and visibly, stopped fiercely pressing directly into my presence. You used to violently hunger for my voice. You used to wake up early just to passionately sit with me. Now, you casually throw me a quick, exhausted thought at the very end of your busy day. You are slowly sinking into the deep, highly toxic swamp of spiritual apathy. I firmly command you to wake up immediately. Lukewarmness is completely and utterly distasteful to my heart. It is profoundly dangerous because you falsely believe you are perfectly safe, simply because you are not actively committing massive, public sins, while your inner fire is actually dying entirely. You are actively taking my massive, expensive grace totally for granted and carelessly living in dangerous presumption. You casually think I will simply bless whatever messy, half-hearted effort you randomly decide to give me. I command you to completely stir up the massive, supernatural gift that I carefully placed directly inside you. Remember the exact, terrifying pit I forcefully pulled you out of. Remember the massive, crushing chains I violently broke off your wrists. How can you possibly return to simply going through the dull, boring motions of life after violently encountering the raw, explosive power of your living Creator? I absolutely refuse to let you comfortably sleepwalk your way straight through this incredible life I gave you. I strongly call you to aggressively wake up and violently strengthen the tiny, flickering embers of faith that still remain before they die completely. The loud, chaotic world has completely exhausted you, distracted you, and totally numbed you to the fierce, undeniable reality of the spiritual war violently raging right around your home. You absolutely cannot afford to be spiritually lazy right now. Your family desperately needs you to be totally awake. Your broken community urgently needs your bright, burning light. I passionately invite you to completely draw a hard, unforgiving line directly in the sand today. Repent for allowing the noisy, temporary things of this fake world to totally steal your eternal passion. I am extending a deeply personal, incredibly urgent invitation to a fresh, massive encounter and a completely renewed commitment today. I am actively standing right at the door of your lukewarm heart, aggressively knocking. I want to totally consume you with my fierce, unshakable fire once again. Do not casually hit the snooze button on this divine, holy alarm clock. I command you to throw off the heavy, comfortable blankets of your apathy. Get entirely back on your knees. Open your Bible with fresh, desperate hunger. I am entirely ready to instantly flood your dry, thirsty soul with massive, rushing rivers of living water, but you must aggressively choose to completely turn back to me right now. My deeply beloved child, as we gently draw this profound, intimate conversation to a close, I intensely need you to absolutely know one final, completely unshakable truth. My burning desire is to massively bless you far more than you even desire to be blessed. I look at you with total, overwhelming love. I have aggressively laid out the exact, specific path that completely leads to massive life, incredible abundance, and profound, eternal peace. I have clearly warned you of the dark, hidden traps. I have gently shown you how to aggressively drop your heavy baggage, and I have powerfully handed you the unbreakable keys to my massive kingdom. Now, the final, crucial choice rests entirely, completely in your hands. I passionately encourage you to violently and completely choose this exact day whom you will truly serve. You absolutely cannot continue to casually stand in the middle, keeping one foot safely in the comfortable, noisy world and one foot lazily in my holy presence. I command you to totally jump directly into my arms. Surrender your deep, exhausting need to perfectly control your own tiny destiny. The massive, beautiful rewards I have completely secured for you far, completely outweigh any temporary, earthly sacrifice you think you are currently making. When you finally choose to deeply trust me, you trade your heavy, suffocating anxiety for my endless, resting peace. You trade your messy, totally broken plans for my perfect, magnificent masterpiece. I want to firmly assure you that you will absolutely never, ever walk through this terrifying world alone. Even when the dark nights are incredibly long, even when the fierce storms aggressively shake the very foundation of your house, I am physically, completely right there with you. My massive, undeniable presence will violently surround you, fiercely protect you, and aggressively guide you until the absolute end of the age. You are permanently, fiercely loved. You are entirely known. You are completely, totally mine. Bow your tired head right now, close your weary eyes, and actively receive this final, massive blessing spoken directly over your spirit. I fiercely declare that the heavy, dark chains holding you back are completely permanently shattered this very second. I aggressively command divine, unstoppable favor to absolutely flood every single area of your chaotic life. I breathe deep, profound, totally unshakable peace directly into your highly anxious mind. I completely seal this massive, living word deeply inside your spirit so the enemy can absolutely never, ever steal it from you. Rise up today, my precious, powerful child. Walk boldly and unapologetically in the brilliant, blinding light of my eternal grace. Your new, deeply beautiful life begins right now. Now that you are fiercely and unapologetically walking in the brilliant, blinding light of your new, deeply beautiful life, I am strongly commanding you to violently pull others entirely into this exact same magnificent light. I am passionately inviting you to firmly link your powerful hands with mine right this second, aggressively funding the massive spread of these vital, life-saving warnings to the millions of completely spiritually deaf souls. By boldly planting your sacrificial financial seed into this exact message today, you are forcefully dropping miraculous, heavy manna directly into the desperately starving mouths of the completely spiritually bankrupt. I loudly and fiercely declare over your life that whoever sows aggressively and bountifully will violently and overwhelmingly reap an earth-shattering, unstoppable harvest of pure, undeniable abundance. I fiercely compel you to move with absolute, lightning-fast urgency, because the massive, divine window to violently save these desperately broken lives is rapidly and aggressively closing. As you bravely release your finances entirely into my kingdom work, I permanently decree an unstoppable, raging river of divine prosperity, fierce, unbreakable health, and absolute, crushing victory directly over your entire household. Seal your incredible, massive commitment to me right this very second by aggressively utilizing the super thanks, boldly becoming a faithful monthly member, or violently sowing your profound seed through the PayPal link firmly placed in the description below. Do not let this sacred moment slip through your fingers, my beloved child. The window of my divine favor is wide open right now, but you must aggressively reach out and claim it. If you are finally ready to shatter the dark chains of spiritual deafness and step completely into the massive, unbroken flow of my blessings, I command you to take a bold, public stand today. Go into the comments right now and fiercely declare, Lord, my ears are open, and I boldly claim your divine blessings today. The very second you type those powerful words, you are violently breaking your agreement with the enemy's silence and perfectly aligning your future with my eternal promises. Speak your victory into existence. Share this absolute truth with a soul who desperately needs to hear my voice, and watch how rapidly I transform your simple obedience into an earth-shaking miracle. Amen.